This is Mouth Media Network. Amplify and connect.
If anyone is looking for me, I'll be over there. Way over there. Nowhere close to this disappointment. Because, really, this is a disappointment. I came here looking for fun, for comedy, to have a laugh. But this is like opening a smartly wrapped Christmas gift and finding a greasy, stinky turkey leg from 1982. And not even a good turkey. That was the year Aunt Carol got one from that truck on the side of I-80 9 days before Thanksgiving. Yeah, that kind of disappointment. So, thanks for the gift. This is Funny People Talking.
Hey everybody, welcome to my Funny People Talking.
He said funny people talking. For those of you who couldn't understand.
Why can't I just start the show just saying, welcome to Funny People Talking?
There, that was it.
I did.
Keep that.
Wait, let me try that again.
Welcome to Funny People Talking.
We could do
Dead
like
silence.
Marvin the Martian.
We'll throw back to when Otto.
Funny People Talking.
If you guys are, if anyone is still listening, sorry.
They're already out.
They're gone. Otto Asando's episode, he did an amazing Marvin the Martian.
Yes. Oh, yeah. His episode of this show. Yes.
Yeah, of this show. Oh, sorry. He's also on the
opposed
code,
to the
on
Code.
CBS.
Yes.
But no, when he was on
did.
this show, he did Marvin the Martian. He did not.
C942 Space Modulator.
That was wrong.
All right, anyway, welcome to the show, everybody.
Welcome.
I'm Marc Raco, one of your hosts, and directly to the right side of me, although you may not realize that, depends on how we've panned the show in post-production.
Yeah.
But is Danielle Beckmann. Hey, Danielle.
Hey, I'm Danielle Beckmann.
I knew you were
I
going to do
was
that.
waiting.
She always does that.
I didn't do that in a while, though.
No.
Thanks for introducing me, Mark. Guess what? My birthday was a couple days ago.
I'm aware. Elsie and I both came to the party.
I know, you
enjoyed
guys
it.
were so sweet.
Yay. And it was fun to see you amongst all of your other friends.
I do have other friends.
Yeah, I know.
Were you surprised?
No.
Oh my God, thank you.
Well, I know one of your other friends, Antonia. Hi, Antonia.
Hi, Antonia.
and-
Oh my God, wait, Antonia is how I met our guest today.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not
That's
kidding.
how I met Danielle, was through Antonia.
What? Yeah.
Many years ago.
Our
Like,
guest,
do you
who
realize
you'll hear
we've
about.
known each other for like 10 years or something?
No, Mark.
Yes.
No,
No.
Wait,
no,
you
I'm
and
sorry.
me?
No, maybe like 8 or 9 years.
no, you.
8
No,
or 9 years. Yes.
this is not true.
It is true.
No, it's not.
Why? How long have you been in New York?
This is so funny to me. Wait, you mean you and Antonia have known each other that long?
No, I've known Antonia about 11 years.
Okay, but
I've
you've known
you,
me?
I'm pretty sure
No.
I've known you like 8 years.
No, because.
Why? Why? Were you in a coma until 4 years ago and then woke up?
Well, maybe I was in a coma yesterday.
How long have you lived in New York?
11 years.
So it's possible I could have known you in that period of time.
Yes, but Mark, I'm
Yes.
telling you,
Why?
we met through Michael Roderick,
Yes, I know.
which I only met him about 5-6 years ago.
So,
Boom.
All right, fine.
Facebook will tell. We'll look later.
Okay, anyway.
Thanks for staying with us.
Also with us,
Oh, we have another person here.
we do,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
Elsie,
Hey,
the producer. Hey, Elsie.
Hi.
Elsie, are you
Wow.
really
Elsie, I'm pretty sure Elsie just had a macchiato or something because she's, woohoo! Even for you, I would say you're low energy today. Are you okay?
I'm fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're just hanging?
Yep.
Just
Just
sort of
listening
lazy.
to your witty banter.
Is it witty? Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's so generous
Just to be clear, that's about an 8.5 on energy
from Elsie.
from Elsie.
It's true.
Now with that last answer. Also with us in the studio, and I do feel, with all due respect to you, my good friend Danielle, and to you, Elsie, we may have saved the best for last.
Oh,
Her name is Regina DeCicco. She is a comedian extraordinaire. If you've ever somehow been lucky enough to be in the studio audience for The View, which records in New York City, you will have experienced the comedy stylings of Miss Regina DeCicco, who is the warm-up comedian for The View. She's been a warm-up comedian for a number of shows over time, not just The View, as well as worked behind the scenes on Saturday Night Live. She's done stand up plenty of times out and about in the world.
I saw her there out and about in the world. It was great.
And she's shared her comedy with the world in a number of ways, which we will talk about in a few minutes.
Just enjoying it. This all checks out.
It's very, very cool so far. Okay.
This all checks out.
I can throw this card that Regina wrote for me away now. So anyway, so happy to have you here in the studio. It's really nice for you to join us.
So excited to be here.
We're going to have a lot of fun. So coming up on the show, in addition to talking to Regina, I have a couple of things that have happened that I have to share. And we are going to take a walk down the aisles of the Tony Awards, thanks to our good friend Danielle, who was there. And this is what she texted me. Danielle texted me, "I've got stories!" ! So I can't wait.
Oh,
to hear
guys.
what those might be. Can't wait. Okay, so we're going to have that, plus a big, nice, whopping interview with Regina, and also a brand new improv game, which is kind of a takeoff on an old version of an improv game, but it's going to be brand new.
It's going to be brand new.
And
it's so new.
By the way, end of show food.
Delicious.
All that is coming up. But first, I do have a question for you, Danielle.
Oh, okay. Okay, sure.
I need you to explain something.
Why?
Please?
I don't want to explain things.
I don't want to.
What do you want me to explain, man?
I want you to explain the terrarium. I saw you walking around our office, our studio office area, walking around with a terrarium. You know, a terrarium it's like a fishbowl that you like keep a lizard or a toad in, or something like that, and it's got little plants and maybe sand or rocks or something, and usually put under warm light or something like that. And you were just walking around with this cute little terrarium.
You thought it was cute? Thank you.
I did. And I didn't actually see anything obviously living in it. So I was trying to understand why you were walking around with it. And also, whose house is that?
It is the house of the ghost of my pet turtle Buster from my childhood.
Poor Buster.
No, he's alive. He's undead, if you will. He's a ghost. And he lives in his terrarium. That's why you didn't see anything, Mark.
Oh.
But isn't it cute? See, he lives here. He has sand.
So
he has little plants. He loved bananas when he was alive.
Now, why was this out and about with you today?
Because I secretly carry him on Tuesdays. Where have you been?
I've never
We
noticed
usually film on a Tuesday.
I know.
You know why? You're so distracted every time I wear a different fashion statement that you're like, you miss the terrarium.
I guess it's just an accoutrement. I never really noticed.
Oh my gosh, you're so French. Say that again.
An accoutrement.
Oh, je ne sais pas.
That's literally like one of 4 words I know.
I grew up with Buster as a child.
Yeah.
And he was a box turtle. He's super cute.
What's a box turtle?
Size of a box. Okay.
Is that really why they're called box turtles?
They're like half of a shoebox size.
They're half of a shoebox size.
Yeah, sure. But I think that's true. But Buster was really, really sweet. And the reason that I still carry around his spirit is because he survived the extermination of my first house growing up.
Oh.
I know. And we went back down to San Diego to find him. We found him under the house after the entire house had been exterminated, and we brought him up to our new place in LA.
Does he have 2 shells now?
My gosh. Yep, it's been a shell of a time for him. So I'm just not sure if I can part with this terrarium.
Do you know what Elsie saw the other day? Didn't you see a turtle out in the city the other day?
Tortoise.
A tortoise?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, Elsie. Your Instagram is Elsie the producer, right? I think I saw it on there.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So you actually were just walking around and then someone had a tortoise?
Right.
Like out on the street? Like on a leash or something?
No leash.
No
just
leash.
walking.
Yeah, they're super slow, guys. Hello?
There's no
They're
leash
not
law
going to
for
run
tortoises?
anywhere. I mean...
Yeah, the guy.
Do you do it just to give him confidence? You're just like, Buster, don't run, oh no. And you just give him confidence, no?
Yeah.
It was waiting across the street. Still waiting right now.
How can you tell the difference between waiting and walking with a turtle?
The light was red and she stopped. Turtle
Why?
that follows the rules, you could tell. I'm not joking.
But why did the turtle cross the road?
Because her owner was going across the street too, and he was letting her walk for herself.
But that's not a punchline.
I know, but but it is the truth.
Okay.
All right.
But
no, the guy.
The guy, he said that he'd had her for 9 years. She was an African something tortoise.
Okay, so bigger.
She was very big.
Yeah, because
like 2
Buster was
shoeboxes.
like this big.
No, she was big. She was the size of a cat.
Meow.
So like an NBA shoebox.
Yeah.
So I have a question.
Wow.
Do children's shoes come in smaller shoeboxes or the same
Yes.
size shoebox?
Yes, I've been to Payless. Have you?
Not in the children's department, but yes.
I used to shop there when I was a size 5.5. I remember.
Gosh, that's hilarious. All right.
Okay, well, so the ghost of Buster will be with us. Amen.
All right. I'm going to notice from now on and not think it's an accoutrement.
It's Tuesday, accoutrement, Tortoise Day.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Before we start the show proper,
Yeah.
any nerd tip for us today?
I do have a nerd tip today. So this is super cool. I found
By
this.
the way, I find it very funny that you've already been talking for like 15 minutes, and the moment your nerd tip came, you grabbed the mic and you pulled it closer. As if somehow it was like, okay, now I'm really gonna get on the
Now
mic.
it matters.
Sorry, I moved it back to be normal.
That's
I think it's because I'm now holding an iPad. Okay, so I found this website called nerdfitness.com. So I've started to work out just in my own house, like in my living room. But okay. It's like, you know how there are all these different workout programs and all this stuff and whatever. But this one is actually it seems so amazing in every way because it was created by a bona fide nerd. So it's we give you every food thing you'll need. We give you every at-home workout. And it's kind of like they work intellectually first. So it's all brain and then everything else. And I was like, that's super cool. And this guy, I couldn't find his last name for a long time, but his first name's Steve, and I was like, really? Like Steve Urkel, but it's fine. His last name is, oh my God, I still can't find it. Maybe it's just Steve. So anyway, they call him their rebel leader. And I was like, oh man,
that's really
here
digging.
we are. But y'all, listen, I was ready to sign up. It was good prices. And basically this guy, Steve, I seriously can't find it. He created this thing because he himself was struggling with getting in shape and all this stuff. And the way he designed it is kind of like a video game or like Dungeons and Dragons where you level up. So you have to beat your levels. And I was like, this appeals to nerds. This is perfect. So go, Steve. I seriously don't even know his last name.
And I would like to point out, and I mean this genuinely with respect to nerds everywhere.
Yeah.
So many nerds, I believe, maybe I'm generalizing, are playing video games or reading or watching movies or playing Dungeons and Dragons. Many of these things, sometimes there's physical involvement because they're, doing mock battles or something like that and
LARPing,
physically,
yeah.
but so much involves being sedentary.
And if you're a computer programmer, you're on the computer.
And so-
That's what this guy was,
So
Steve.
to be able to actually connect with the nerd thinking
Yes.
and bring physicality into it, I think is important.
I 100% agree. And that's what he said. He was like, I was sick of being sedentary. His last name is Cam. I found it.
Steve Cam.
Steve
I
Cam.
wonder if he has a Steve Cam.
What'd she say?
Yeah. Steve Cam. It does sound like he has a Steve Cam.
Oh,
that
but
is that really coincidence? I don't think
Yeah,
so.
but that's the darker part of his person.
Okay.
But you guys, it has
He offers a lot of services. That's all we need to know.
But also,
full
it ends with a B.
Oh.
Steve Camba, like
Game changer.
Lamba.
Cam, it sounds like someone who's trying to say Campbell but got shot in the middle of it.
And it also sounds like he might be trying to be Steve Urkel, just saying. So anyway, congrats, Nerd Fitness.
How do you know it's not Cam B?
Because he said it. I had to dig it up on a video, guys.
Really?
I really spent a lot of time.
You need...
I'm ready for a
something to do.
membership. Thanks, Steve Cam.
All right. Thank you for that unusual.
It was just the
Nerd
tip. You're welcome.
Well orchestrated and executed as well.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
We love you, Danielle.
Love you.
Hey, you know what you could do just to get things going?
Mark, start the show.
Thanks.
From the Mouth Media Network studios in New York City, and from the same people who brought you Monkey Radio with Mark, this is Funny People Talking with Marc Raco, Danielle Beckmann, and Elsie.
All right, everybody, we are here with, well, all of us and you, but also Regina DeCicco. She gave me a big thumbs up because I got that.
Nailed it.
I got her name on the first try. You may not know this, but when you hear me say it earlier, there may be a number of edits involved that have allowed that to happen. This was real. Anyway, Regina, so glad you're here. Before we get to the big story, which really is about the Tonys.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't care if you may not care about the Tonys, but I think there's probably some fun stories here, which is really what the value is of talking about it. But I do have a couple of very quick things. First of all, just to get some housekeeping out of the way.
Oh, yeah.
It is very important that we have our appeal to Tina.
Tina.
Fey. Now, just for Regina's edification, one of our goals on this show, our objectives of the show's even existence, because I personally have had a number of very close calls with Tina Fey, where I almost worked with her a few times, and just too close a call. I feel like we're destined to cross paths. So part of what we're doing is putting it out to the universe on every show in whatever way we can, and appealing and praying to the comedy gods and the universe for Tina Fey to somehow just give us a moment of her existence at some point on this show. Tina, that could be obviously an appearance on the show, a phone call, a voicemail, a message,
a temporary tattoo of your face,
a drive-by. Have your driver swing by our street. We'll be waiting outside and wave to you.
Are we announcing where the studio is? That's kind of weird.
She can DM us and we will tell her exactly.
We're in Midtown, Chelsea.
Anyway, come on, Daniel. Now everyone knows.
Was that bad? Oh shit! But I just cursed. That was fun. Cut that out. Cut that out.
We really.
We're putting an E on this episode. Okay, go wild.
That's right.
Go crazy, everyone.
Anyhow, so. If you will join me in those, and Regina, if you would like to join in, please feel free. We are appealing to the comedy gods. Tina Fey, please come on the show. We love you, Tina Fey. You're brilliant. You're a goddess. Please come on the show. We'll even take a drive-by.
We will bring you your favorite.
Come on.
Look-alike is almost.
Don't worry, Alec Baldwin won't be here. Just kidding. We know you love him.
Please come on the show. Comedy gods, we appeal to you.
Amen.
Thank you.
That was so Gregorian.
So, as I task all of our guests, if somehow, some way you have even the loosest connection that aims in her way, and you want to just let them know about this crazy funny thing the show does, in which they're just putting it out there, hey, that's a great story. Tina Fey hears about this and makes it happen.
She does something. The video goes viral. Everybody talks about it. We know how it plays out.
We know.
We'll do it quietly.
It's a formula.
No one even has to know.
Or they don't need to know. Because it means that much to you.
It does. Yes. It personally means that it's not about fame. This is about appreciation of her great talent. And I mean that. So, okay.
And it's about fame. Yeah. I'm sorry, I had to put that in.
Oh, yeah.
It is. Okay, thanks, Mark.
Okay, moving on. Next, real quick, before we get to the Tonys.
Yeah, what's going on with you?
Things. One is I had to mention that today, immediately prior to recording the show, remember recently I talked about how I had jury duty, and then I postponed it the last minute, and it was really a weird process, and they sucked the whole process.
Yeah, because I didn't have jury duty too long ago.
Guess what I had today?
Jury duty
today. And so I did not get selected for a jury, but I was in the selection process for a jury. What?
Voir dire.
What does that mean?
That's the jury selection process.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, oui, oui.
Wow, they didn't say that.
It is the Latin thing. It's I don't know what it means.
I just thought it was
don't listen.
Jury selection.
No, but it's really, it's called a voir dire.
Oh.
Yeah.
Which is weird because most of law is in Latin, not in French. So
no, that was Latin.
Oh, you said it was French.
No. Oh my God. Play the tape back.
I'm
It was
pretty sure.
Latin. I
Okay.
said it was Latin.
Okay. If you did, it sounded like French to me.
It's all French to me.
Anywho,
okay, hold on. So you did go through.
So I went through, and here's what I was just going to share. So it was really funny because I have to be careful I don't say anything that points to the actual case. Just
Uh-oh.
Well, no, just out of respect for the people involved.
Got it.
But,
NDA.
But they didn't, normally when you're in jury selection, they do it in like a courtroom. And you're sitting all in the back, and the judge and the lawyers are in the front, and then they call you up one by one or whatever they do, right?
Yep.
They didn't have a courtroom available, I think. So we got in this tiny little room, and they squashed 35 people in the room. I'm telling you, it was not much bigger than this studio. And then they got the two lawyers, one for the plaintiff, one for the defendant, were at the front of the room, squished behind this desk. And when people got up and they had to go out of the room, they had to sort of like shimmy by the desk.
Oh my God.
By, right? Okay. So I'm really
That's
like
so
very
New York.
uncomfortable in there, right? And we're like sitting there. We're not allowed, to talk. We're not allowed to use our phones. We just have to like sit there squashed. It was like flying, really. Like,
Yeah.
And so the part I wanted to tell you that was funny was this was I can say it was a medical malpractice lawsuit, and the person to whom the injuries had been allegedly done was representing himself against the doctor, and the doctor's real lawyer was in the room. The man representing himself is not a lawyer, but had taken some law classes over the last few years to be ready for the trial.
Whoa.
And my guess is this is his first trial. I may be wrong. And he was a colorful gentleman dressed not in a suit and tie, but in a polo shirt and a checkered blazer and jeans.
Whoa.
Conducting the jury selection in front of us. And it was really funny because every so often he'd go slightly off the rails, and you could just see the buttoned up lawyer for the defendant who had to sit next to him as part of this process, just biting his lip, watching this guy just decimate the process. And every once in a while he'd kind of turn to him and go, no, that's not no. And he would look at the bunch of us and go, no, you're not gonna, that's not gonna happen. And it was just like, there was one point he scared us. I don't remember what he said. He said something like, they'll come after, like if you don't tell the truth, or if you don't come or something like that, they'll come knocking on your door. And the other guy's like, no, they're not going to come knocking on your door. It was crazy. It was really interesting. So very, very quickly. So then when I went out, so one by one, they asked us to come out of the room, and we talked to them. I told him if we had any conflicts or issues. And one of the things I told him was, I'm gonna have to be careful about this.
Yeah.
There was a situation in the past that I had that involved some legal stuff, in which the person had something in common with this guy.
Exactly.
And the minute I told them that, it was so funny because it wasn't they weren't just like, okay, thank you very much. The plaintiff was just like, well, I'm not going to want that.
Just boom, right out of there.
And if whatever you think, like in your mind, you're imagining this very colorful gentleman to be like,
right?
I'll tell you off air what he looked like, and I want to see.
Do you have bright pink shirt? Sorry, I just saw pink.
No, but I did notice that when he came back from the lunch break, there was an extremely large water spot on his polo shirt. He must have spilled something on during lunch and had to wash it all out. It was just so funny.
So if you had to choose a genre of any of the crime TV shows that are oh so popular, what was today? Was it like CSI? Was it The Good Wife? Was it like of all the court shows that it was
Reno
a Judge
911?
Judy? Okay, perfect. Genius.
So anyway, that happened. So then the other thing I was just going to tell you real quick was, on a more serious but strange note, the other day I was alone in the apartment, and all of a sudden I heard all this commotion outside, and people were shouting and things were clanging and a woman was screaming, and I kind of ran out and I saw a woman holding a baby and car doors open, and I hear someone yelling and running down the street. And it turns out that someone who lives in our building had left the car door open in New York City then I guess went inside to get his wife and the baby, and then they came out and they found a man going through the car. And then when and then the husband was carrying the baby, and the guy, as he ran, pushed the wife.
Oh my God.
And the husband ran after the guy while holding the baby.
Wow.
Oh no, baby. Don't do the baby.
And then he somehow ended up handing off the baby to the woman, and the baby fell. Now, I will tell you the good news. I learned. You're like, Mark, you buried the lead. But now I will tell you, while they called an ambulance, I did find out later the baby is fine. But it was, and so when the guy ran after this guy, he's shouting after him down the guy yells he's got a knife, and I guess the husband eventually disengaged. And it's all happening
well, I have this baby.
I mean, I have a knife too. It's called a Swiss Army. Anyway,
And I was just like, it's amazing that people will leave their car doors open in New York City.
Yeah.
And not in like Riverdale, just not necessarily.
Well, we don't know Riverdale. Maybe you shouldn't either.
Well, I'll tell you, years ago when I had a house in Rochester, I had my car in my driveway, and I lived in a nice suburb, and a friend was over, came out, and both of our cars had their car doors open. Unlocked. Unlocked.
Oh, unlocked.
And both of them had been robbed.
Yep.
And someone had taken all of the belongings that were in our cars, including, unfortunately, my friend's purse.
Ooh, leaving the purse.
Yeah.
Which was a big mistake.
Right.
And then they had taken all of those belongings and strewn them up one street and down another.
Wait a minute.
And
They didn't take anything?
And the only thing they ended up taking in the long run was, I think, her phone. And maybe some money out of the wallet, but everything else we eventually collected.
Right.
Much of it was dirty and everything like that. We got it. But the violation that I felt, and I'm sure she felt, that to have had that happen, because it's one thing to have because I've had 2 times the car's been broken in.
Yeah.
One time they smashed the window in.
Right, I've had a smash.
It's horrible.
Jeez.
And did they take stuff with the smash?
Oh, yeah.
Like CDs or something like that?
Yeah, they took like CDs.
I know.
I had nothing in there. It was college. Also, now that if you're from LA, you don't leave anything in your car. It's like New York. You don't leave anything at a Starbucks table while you turn your back.
It's like you like Lisa Loeb that bad, you have to smash it.
It was Atlantis.
Well, there you go. Okay. Well, you ought to know.
Yep.
Sorry, I did that.
Okay.
It's ironic.
I had to swallow that jagged little pill.
Yeah, let's keep going. Come on.
I'm done. It's ironic though that I am done.
Anyway, I just had to tell you that happened. It was just.
Did you catch that one?
Yes.
Thank God.
The thing about ironic?
Yeah. Thank God.
The one I had already said.
Dang it! You said that. Did you?
Yes. That's fine. You can say it as well.
Is my brain okay?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Okay. By the way,
I thought we weren't talking about
I know, but I'm like,
it's funny though because unless you exhibit
no, you said you ought to
symptoms,
know. You didn't say ironic.
I did. It might have been
Did
missed.
Yeah, because I think you jagged little pilled, and then he ironic. I believe it was a ping pong.
I think what that was is you were so interested in getting out your material, you weren't listening to the material other
Thank
people were
God
saying.
I don't have brain lapses.
Okay, no,
As long as I'm interrupting and ignorant, I'm fine.
I think you still got all cylinders going. My friend.
Oh, thank God.
By the way, I see that you voted today.
I voted.
Congratulations.
In Kings County, Brooklyn.
Good for you.
Yeah, we got some judges coming up.
Wow.
Yeah, just 2 spots I voted for.
I have to tell you, I legitimately, and this is my own ignorance, I did not know today was an election day.
I've had it on my calendar for a month. I don't know.
I didn't know.
You know what's...
I should have known. I didn't know.
What borough are you in, Regina?
In Manhattan.
Okay, so I don't know. Yeah, I guess.
So I don't. Right, I felt the same way.
it's just
Honestly,
Brooklyn.
like I was like, I don't remember seeing a voting machine today. Was I supposed to do something today? I had a moment of maybe
it's just Kings County. No,
I feel the same way every time I see someone that says I gave blood. I'm like, oh, I didn't know today was the day.
where are you guys doing that?
I so would have
weird.
done it.
I promise. But the whole thing with this that was funny is one of my roommates. I get a lot of mail about voting and legislation and people running for office and whatnot because I am registered with specific parties, so I get to vote in the primaries and all that stuff. And one of my roommates was like, wow, you get a lot of this stuff. And I'm like, is because I'm taking part in our legal system and justice system, and he's not from America. So he's lived here for a long time now, but and also he lived in Connecticut for a long time. But I feel like in New York they paper you, So he's like, "What is all this stuff coming?"
That's interesting because I will tell you, I haven't voted in primaries because I'm not registered with a party.
Right. I used to not be. I understand.
This is just me. I'm not pontificating what I think other people should be thinking or anything.
Yeah.
I don't believe in the party systems. I believe they exist. I understand that they exist. I don't like the fact that they're nothing I can do about it. They're going to exist. And I know that they exist in other countries in the world.
Right.
But what I'm saying is I don't believe that my ideals fit squarely and only in one party. And I don't want to support a candidate just because they are with my party. And that would be the implication of registering for one party, although technically you could vote for whoever you wanted.
Yeah, you could. And also I get to vote in all the primaries. Kind of interesting. Yeah.
So I'm explaining why I haven't done it.
No,
that
I get
said,
you.
however,
given
the events of recent years, I've been starting to rethink that a little bit because
that's what I'm saying.
I feel like I'm not participating as actively in enough of the process.
Yeah.
And I can't bitch about it if I
get
don't.
You.
Right.
And you're in the Red Berets, we all know. It's like the Green Party, but they wear red.
Oh.
Do you know about the Red Berets?
Communist? Are you calling me a communist?
Anyway, oh my God. I hope don't take away Mark's health insurance, guys. Just kidding.
Okay. Elsie, did you vote today?
No.
Did you know it was an election day?
No.
But you live in Kings County?
No.
Then there you go.
But it's not just election day in Kings County, is it?
I don't know. It's a primary for our judges, for the council members.
Just for Kings County?
Yeah. Literally 2 days just for Kings County.
I think it's, excuse me, I think it's election day more than just in Kings County.
Well, if anyone's listening, it's already passed.
Yes.
So
Sorry you
tell
missed
us how
it.
you voted, and we'll see you on Twitter.
For your judges.
Congratulations, Candidate X.
Speaking of voting, I was at an awards show recently.
Yes, you were.
Yes.
And we're going to talk about that right after the. No. We're gonna okay, so what?
This commercial?
Okay, so Danielle Beckmann.
Hi, that's me.
What commercial?
Well, I was in an eBay commercial, and I was in. I was.
Well, you can call me Jay. You can call me Ray.
Is that an eBay commercial?
That was actually a commercial. I'm going to guess in the 70s or 70s or 80s.
I didn't even know that time.
Goes, well, you can call me Jay, or you can call me Ray, but you doesn't have to call me Johnson. I think that's what it was. I don't remember what it was for. I think it was for a beer. Do you remember that, Elsie?
No.
It's not for Johnson & Johnson?
No.
I remember the commercial. I don't know
it
what
might
it's
have
for,
been
though.
a beer. I don't know. I'll find out. But anyway, okay. So
Speaking of beer slogans.
What award show were you at, Danielle?
Well,
because we didn't announce it earlier in the show.
Did we not?
We did.
Oh, dang it. See, I thought we did. Yeah. Oh, my brain's playing tricks on me. I was at the Antoinette Perry Awards, a.k.a. the Tony Awards. Yes, it is named for a woman. It's Tony. It should be T-O-N-I, Antoinette.
You know, it'd be great if Tyler Perry presents
Tyler
Tyler
he
Perry
probably
presents
walk
the
on.
Antoinette Perry Award.
No, that'd be really fun.
I can see it happening.
There should
With
be a hybrid.
Special musical guest Steve Perry.
I always came up with this idea that, like, what if the Tonys were just like my two uncles, Tony, like sitting,
right,
smoking, and it's like, come watch the Tonys, and it's like,
what'd you think of Hades Town?
Yeah, and it's like their whole review of the year.
That's right.
The Tonys, my R.I.P.
I wish they'd bring back Tony. That Bette Midler.
Yeah. She was good in her 30s. Okay. No, she's good now. Anyway. Okay, so here's what happened, y'all. I was a seat filler this year.
Yes.
And what do? You sit your butt down in a seat, you get up, you move, you free up the seat for a famous person to sit down. It's all for the TV. Regina, I'm sure, working
so that way they can never
set,
cut to an audience and have someone missing from a seat. That's
boom.
what you would be. You'd be that person.
You're the fluffer of the crowd, the zhuzh. Okay, so I got there. I found out 2 days before I was going to go. This is my 4th time going, so it's old hat by now, folks. But I did need a dress, so I went to Ye Old Buffalo Exchange, and I got a Ye Old vintage dress, and I went. What's happening?
Nothing. Continue.
Oh, thank you.
Elsie is producing behind the scenes and has
She
handed
is.
me background information that I can bring up at a later time.
Oh, my God.
It wasn't designed to bring the show to a halt.
That's
why she handed
And
it
yet
to me
it has.
quietly.
radio folks.
Thank you, Elsie.
No, I thought you were about to show it to
Yeah.
me, and I was like,
No, Elsie, I didn't make even the slightest move in your direction.
But I love the purple phone case. Okay, speaking of purple, I have no segue. So, I was a seat filler at the Tony. So first, there were many things against me that day.
Okay.
One of which, I'm so sorry if you're listening and you're a man, but I'm a woman, and I had the worst cramps of my life. And it's a thing that happens to women a lot.
Yeah.
We don't talk about it. I'm talking about it. Actually, one of our first episodes, we talked about it. So whatever. So I arrive, you get there super early, and I had my vintage dress on. I had my Spanx, and I get in, and they file us in, and I sit down, and I hear this, and I was like,
No.
I was like, wait, that was very loud. And I go to feel around, and I'm like, oh, I think my back of my dress is fine. Like, I'm fine. Something ripped. It was probably the lining. So then we get debriefed, you know, because you're there to volunteer essentially. But you get to see the show, which is really fun. So we're bouncing around. I stand up for the first time, and I'm like, oh, those are my Spanx. They're out and about. It's a different kind of show tonight for Danielle Beckmann. Everyone can see things. So the problem is my undergarments didn't match my dress. So we got some bright nude colors underneath, and we got a black fringe on top. So I'm like freaking out. I'm like, guys, I have to fill seats all night. Like, my butt has to be in like Jeff Daniels' face, because you have to squeeze. I'm doing a motion of squeezing for those who are listening. You have to like squeeze in to the aisle and sit down gracefully and then get up, and et cetera, et cetera. So here I was feeling so vulnerable in every way. And the guys he was giving like the instructions for the seat fillers, I sat there. You know when everything is kind of crumbled and you just laugh?
Mm-hmm.
You just sit there and you just laugh. That was me. I was just like, like in his face. And he's trying to talk to 150 seat fillers, and I'm just sitting there laughing. And he was like, and the people around me were like, are you okay? I was like, I am just laughing at myself. Like, I have to be here in my humanity in this moment. So the girl next to me, she's like, you're coming with me. And she took me to the bathroom, and she had safety pins in the back of her dress that she had for safekeeping. Oh, safe. No pun intended. And she pinned my dress in the back. What a delight. So I ended up coming back out. And what happens is, if you ever want to be a seat filler, pro tips, like, first of all, wear a dress, even if it's the less cuter dress, wear one that has give. Don't go vintage. Also, try sitting down in it before. That was my problem. I should have pulled it up and sat, and I didn't. And also, sometimes they make you run. So make sure you wear heels if you're a girl that you can run in.
Wow.
Which is crazy, because the how fast paced it is in commercial breaks. Anyway, so I come back up from the bathroom. I'm feeling like I'm a little stitched up. I'm a little bit better. And I get in line, and the guy comes up. The guy I was laughing at, I feel bad. His name's Dana. Hi, Dana. And he came up and he was like, I need you last 11 to come with me. And so what happened was, he took us to this one area, and it was like a seating area where I got to sit for like 40 minutes before the show. Everyone else had to stand. Like, I kid you not, 100 people had to stand. I got to sit. I was like, the universe is somewhere on my side tonight. This is awesome. So then, right before the pre-show, I get called up, and they're like, we need 4 people. Go, 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 because they have headsets on. And they pulled the 4 next to me to go. And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, oh, I didn't make that cut. I'm just going to sit here. And this girl runs back up the aisle. She's like an intern. She's like, we need 5, you, like 1 more. And I was like, that's me. And so I went, and I got ushered down to the 3rd row, not in the orchestra pit, you know, but the 3rd row. And I scooched in, and the technique is you're supposed to sit on the end. And as people come, you move in, fill in, fill in, fill in. And when that last person comes, you get up and they get in. So I just kept scooching in, a little scooch, a little scooch. And I looked around, and I was like, oh, Laura Linney's right in front of me. Oh, two Tony nominees are right next to me, Robin DeJesus and one of the actors from Ain't Too Proud to Beg. I was like, oh, Michael Kors is right behind me. This is fun. And I sat there and the pre-broadcast happened from 7 to 8. No ushers moved me. And I was like, oh, this is fun. I'm just going to keep sitting here. 8 o'clock, James Corden's on stage. I'm looking at him. I'm like, no one's moving me. This is great. I feel like maybe I am taking the seats of two wealthy investors who just couldn't show up tonight. 9 o'clock rolls around. No one moves me. 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. I made the whole show. And I
so
sat.
You got paid to sit.
Wow.
To sit.
The third row of the Tonys.
Uh-huh. I did not get moved once. And I did not have to have my embarrassing open 6-inch hole in my dress in front of everyone.
So I have a question.
Yes, ask away.
Well, it's not that exciting a question, but
James.
I'm curious. What kind of money does a seat filler make for doing something like that?
Oh, it's like a stipend, like thanks for coming.
Like $30?
Yeah, less.
Oh, really? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So it's just like covering transportation and maybe
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
meal at
This
most.
is a
But also, it's like it's a no, it is like a privilege.
Of course, you would
know
pay
what
to
I
do
mean?
that. So if they're right,
Yeah, because and honestly, if that sweet deal did not fall in my lap where I just sat there, I would have probably requested just to sit in the back behind the monitors because of my delicate condition of the night. But what else is crazy is Laura Linney's sitting there, and on the big screen, she and Audra McDonald had a fun little tiff that was, some say it was planted, some say it was fake. I think it was real. No, just kidding. It was fake, but it was cute. And I look on the big screen and my friend Dana was sitting right next to Laura Linney. And I thought, oh, is Dana a seat filler? This is funny. And then I look and I was like, wait, no, that's the woman who she's been talking to the whole show. They must be friends. So next commercial break, I'm like, Dana Dominic. And she turns around. She's like, oh my God, Danielle Beckmann. We used to work together at Ruby Tuesday 11 years ago.
Wow.
And she is Laura Linney's assistant. Wow. And she said, isn't Laura Linney the best boss ever? She took me to the Tonys. And so, hey, Laura Linney, if you're listening, you're a doll. But like, so cool. So we got to chat. I got to chat. We got to chat and chat. I got to have a nice little chat with them. And yeah, it was really lovely. And the energy was really fun. And to top it off, the guy sitting next to me, he was also a seat filler. He also didn't get moved. His name was Ryan. What a doll. He's a company manager for Hamilton. And he's was just there enjoying the show like me. So we had our little bonding moments. And nearly every number, Mark, I kid you not, like either every number or every category or like every other time, I knew someone, right? Because I've been in New York 11 years. And I'm like, oh, that's my friend Will. He's on stage in Oklahoma. Or like, oh yeah, that's Joe Iconis. He used to develop shows at my restaurant, and
that's so cool.
And and he's nominated for a Tony. So it was, and Ryan, this kid, he's like sitting next to me. He's like, dude. It's like, are you sure you shouldn't be sitting in the third row? And I'm like, oh, bless you.
Look,
love
if you're in entertainment in New York or LA, I would imagine that happens. I know my wife will watch a movie or TV and she'll go, hey, that's Bobby or that's Davey or that's Susan or whatever. And oh
Bobby,
my God,
Davey,
good for
and
them.
Susan,
you know?
love them all.
It's just you know, I used to vocal coach him or, you know,
yes.
Let's go rest. And so one more thing I remember you mentioning to me off mic that might be worth. No. Someone serenaded the audience in a commercial break.
Oh my God.
In front of you.
Right in front of me, Billy frickin' Porter. And that was one of the most organic, delicious, like theatrical moments I've ever witnessed.
If you don't know who Billy Porter is, if you're listening to this and just not cued into Broadway town or whatever, he's a royal gem of the Broadway world at this point. He's starring Kinky Boots. I don't know what else he was in. That's what he's really, really famous for. Yeah,
he skyrocketed with Kinky Boots, and now he's the lead or one of the leads on the show Pose on FX, and he's just now a fashion icon.
Yeah, he's a dynamo of a talent.
Yeah, and there was a little karaoke moment, and literally James Corden was just being like, "Who wants wants to sing. That's what was so cool. That part wasn't planted. I'm sure like on commercial breaks, I don't know what you do, Regina. I can't wait to hear. But like it wasn't planted. Like there were certain little things that were for the audience. And so he's like, oh, I'll sing something. What do you got? And then it was like, I'll do Mama Rose. And then when he sang that first note that was really high, he was like, whoa. He's like, hey, I didn't come here to work. And James Corden grabbed the mic and said, yeah, you obviously don't want anyone staring at you. I understand.
Yeah, because he had this incredible flamboyant outfit on, of course.
And his dress and suit was made out of a curtain from Kinky Boots.
Yeah. That's fantastic.
The red curtain. So it was the ups and downs of the night made it all worth it.
So it's great now that when you someday get nominated for your own Tony, you'll have a lay of the land and kind of feel the vibe. So that's good.
And I've been to Radio City I've been to the Tonys 4 times now. So awesome. I'm feeling the energy. I know what to do. Look at the teleprompter. No, there was someone that night who walked up. Did you watch the whole thing? Did you?
I did pretty much.
There was someone who walked up and was like, there's nothing on the screen. Like it was
I think
live.
I can see that clip though.
Yeah.
It
was a woman. I don't remember who it was.
I feel like it was Marissa Tomei.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, she's
it was
like,
2 people, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Marissa, but she was the one. She was like, "There's nothing up there," and I'm like, "Oh, this is rough."
Yeah, that's someone who needs a script, apparently.
Yeah, I know. I've seen her on Broadway in Top Girls. She's brilliant. My goodness. Anyway, thanks for listening, guys. And if anyone is curious about how to be a seat filler at the Tonys, I don't know. Because I did a program.
And with
Don't write in.
No, I did a program through the American Theater Wing 11 years ago. So.
All right, we're going to pause for a moment.
I got Regina.
We're going to go to our own commercial break, and who knows? Anyone might sing, maybe even Elsie. And when we come back, it's going to be.
Oh my God, Elsie, please!
It's going to be Elsie who's more likely to do hip hop, and that's true.
That is true.
Right after this, we're going to play an improv game, a brand new one, and we're going to talk to Regina. We'll be right back.
Connect with the show at Mouth Media Network or at our website, funnypeopletalking.com. And please, for the love of all that is holy, subscribe to the show and leave us a damn review and a really, really good rating on iTunes. Pretty please? Thank you.
Welcome back to Funny People Talking. We are here with Regina DeCicco.
Yes.
DeCicco.
You got it now.
You sound like you're one of the pink ladies.
Which one?
With that name, DeCicco.
Right, I could just be any. My own
She's
pink
on.
lady.
Yo, DeCicco.
Yeah.
This is all true. This is all true.
Oh, so jealous.
I can't wait to dive into your story, but first we're going to play a quick improv game.
Great.
This is called Double Team Pitch.
All right.
I just made that up.
Double your pleasure. Double your
Known in
team.
certain circles.
Double your pitch. That's what we call it. This is called Double Your Pitch, and the idea is that quite often teams. You'll get pitched in an advertising pitch or television pitch or something. And sometimes it's teams that come in and they kind of, they're like, one is kind of saying the main part of the pitch and the other kind of is the color commentary of the pitch, adding in music or dialogue or something like that.
Or sequence.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But sometimes
For sure.
the person that you're pitching to surprises you and tells you that they're really looking for something else, and you have that moment in the room.
Oh God!
And you're not going to waste it. So you say, well, we actually have another idea we've been working on.
Yeah.
And you improv.
And then we snowball.
You snowball.
Okay, cool. I'm ready.
So that's the idea. So Danielle and I are going to. I'd say demonstrate, but we've never played this before. So we're going to lead off and be the brave ones to start out. I would appreciate Regina. I knew it the minute it came out. I knew it was wrong. Regina, you're going to be the network executive.
Okay, I'm
that
going to be the
we're pitching
executive.
to.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay,
And
great.
What you're going to do is you're going to
Oh, game changer.
You're
We get into
basically-
character.
Like, finally. Whoopi, you're gone. No, not Whoopi. Not Whoopi. And then this is the way you'll employ your suggestion is you will tell us really what the network is looking for, and that'll be the way you put your suggestion of whatever unknown way we should take this pitch.
Right.
Fair enough?
Yeah.
Okay. So Regina, I have to tell you, we're so glad to be here. We're ready to pitch our incredible sitcom.
I mean, it's great. Listen, I am sure that it's great, but I'm going to be honest.
But she hasn't even heard any.
I know. Listen, I know. I'm sure it's great. I'm sure it's great, but we're looking for a feature right now, an action-packed feature. I mean, I don't know if this is something you guys could ever. I don't know if you've got this in you. Oh, I mean. Do you feel like I mean action-packed summer blockbuster?
Absolutely.
Big names. You
know, we've been working on one, of course.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
we've been working on the one with Rosemary Harris. Who it's a whole knitting murder mystery, but we could add more action.
Well,
right?
Actually, what I think you're going to love this. We were talking about this. So Rosemary Harris, it's a knitting murder mystery.
Yeah, she's a legend.
Okay.
Yeah,
in the knitting community.
Well, what you don't realize about the knitting community is actually a lot of bikers are knitters. And so what this becomes is
I didn't know that.
It's a road
did you
trip.
know that? No.
It's a road trip with a bunch of bikers, and one of them has a grandmother played by Rosemary Harris.
Rosemary Harris, a gem of our time.
They go cross country.
Yeah. So, I mean, so many options cross country. Hello.
How are they traveling cross country? We need to picture it. We're very
Biking.
visual.
Well, we're thinking this may be helpful from an expense standpoint. It's not going to be in the United States. They're going across Liechtenstein, which is very small.
Okay.
So it's a short trip. So it'd be easier to cover from a geographic
And
standpoint.
all local actors except Rosemary Harris, right?
So
Is
you've
that
got
good? Is that
Klaus
good?
von Stingensturm. That's we're very well known in Liechtenstein.
Good.
And
Local
Klaus,
hero.
and we're also going to bring in Jason Schwartzman.
Well, and there's also the other Klaus. Yeah, he's great
Klaus?
too.
Klaus,
The other Klaus.
Santa Claus.
Santa. Okay, seasonal. This sounds a little more seasonal now.
He's a well-known biker.
Okay.
He's got a big long beard.
All right.
But he dresses.
Beards are still big.
Yeah, he's got a red helmet, but still.
Yeah, and he is like a saint. He's great. He's wonderful.
Okay, so they go across.
So
the
great
country.
names attached.
Yep.
Yeah,
Right.
And Rosemary Harris, and then in the middle of the trip, Rosemary Harris dies.
She just
Not the actress, but the character.
Right.
Yeah, the character. We're not
She's
going to
still-
kill
she's still
Rosemary
unsure.
Harris. Oh my
She's still
god.
insurable. don't
Okay.
worry.
Okay. Good.
And-
We can't have that.
She'll be at the red carpets.
She
yeah.
dies because there's a meteor comes down.
I like this. I like
Okay,
what
now
I'm
she's
hearing.
like in the meteor.
I like this.
a kind of final destination
Right.
kind of
Okay.
terrible traffic accident. And we know guys that does great miniatures, so you may not have to stage this.
We won't need a real meteor. That's what you're saying. That
No
saves
real
money. It's
meteor,
very hard to get a
saving
real
budget,
meteor.
and the because it's very environmentally friendly because there's all the biking. There's so much bike riding that low carbon emissions, but you have the action of the meteor, and a lot of death.
We think
excitement.
But where does all the knitting come in?
Well, the knitting exploded when she exploded. It was her passion.
She's been knitting the whole time. Crossing the
whole
scene, she's
time.
been knitting.
Well, here's the thing.
Is she right in the back of the bike?
Upon her death, they look in her satchel, which somehow survived, and they found because it was made of an asbestos material. It's from the 40s, but and what happened was. and it turns out that she had been knitting a cover for her poodle.
A bomb. Oh, yeah. A bomb. A bomb.
Well, her poodle's name is Bomb.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's her poodle.
Okay.
These little bombs.
Her
so,
poodle is the bomb.
So her poodle's back in the United States.
Right.
And,
not Liechtenstein.
So what happens is this becomes a quest almost like the holy grail to find a way to survive and bring this back to the United States. And the finale of the movie is a very touching.
It's so touching. The dog's there.
Actually put the final moment. You put the beautifully knit little yellow cover on the poodle.
On the poodle.
And they give the poodle his very own little motorcycle.
Wow.
Yeah.
Which sets up a sequel.
Which rides off into the distance.
Right.
And
bomb on his motorcycle.
Right. Exactly.
So it has everything that a Hollywood movie should want. It has action, summer blockbuster with the meteor.
You've got
age,
diversity.
Jason Schwartzman.
And Klaus
and Klaus.
And listen, we've already talked to Jason. If you need him to, pull out his thing, he said he'll do it.
That's good.
Because he does that.
But Rosemary said she doesn't want it in her scenes.
No,
She'd rather be dead.
It's too much.
So
we understand that the poodle's in negotiations about that.
Right. The poodle works a lot. I've seen this poodle.
Yeah.
Really
well, it sounds like this is a done deal.
I think so.
And it's called Joy Bomber because, it's an innuendo for the dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
So that's it.
Okay. Write it up.
All
Let's
right.
see it. Let's
Thank
see a
you.
draft.
Nice.
Wow.
So there you go. All right. So now let's try one.
Like, what happened to Liechtenstein? Gone.
So now Danielle is the producer.
Oh, crap.
Okay.
And Regina and Elsie, this is going to be awesome, are the two producers or writers who have come in to pitch in the room.
Yeah, you guys are pitching to me.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Have fun, y'all. I can't wait to hear this.
Oh.
I can't wait to listen.
What you guys got for me? Bring it in. Thank you so much for coming on.
Okay, so we really think we're seeing this on Netflix is what we're thinking. We're thinking this is gonna be a streaming show,
right?
Like a mini series is what we're thinking about. Okay,
okay, is this because you want to do nudity? Because I'm really thinking this should appeal to the pure crowd if we're gonna have this on.
So no nudity.
Well, it's gonna be on Pure Flix.
Pure Flix.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I'm also thinking that I'm loving
it changes things, but
I'm loving the whole like rom-com sort of murder mystery, but pure. So tell me more about that.
Well, it's Puritans. That was the idea. We'd just been talking about something so similar. We were like, you know what? Naked people are great, but they're better with clothes. We just had this conversation.
Yeah, I mean, have you seen Call the Midwife?
Right. So we've seen. So this is what it is. It's really Puritans. So think fully covered, pilgrim-esque.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, but how are we going to deal with death? Like, what's your plan for the murder part, but the rom-com part? Because we have some people interested. So what are you going to bring to me? What are you going to bring?
Well, it starts out with an accident. There was an accident. It's Plymouth Rock falls on one of our Puritans.
Yeah.
It's her husband. It falls on this woman's husband. They've been in love for years. Falls on her husband. And now she is alone. And she is ready to find love.
Yeah.
Oh.
Kind of like a reality show meets the Pilgrims.
Well,
right. Yes. Lots of suitors. They all look very similar, but we'll make sure their names are clear. They're dressed alike, but you can tell they're different guys.
I just don't understand how I need more of the murder thing because
Well, the rock didn't just fall. The rock was pushed.
Yeah.
There we go.
The rock was pushed.
But also the suitors that she rejects, something always happens to.
Yes, mysteriously, all of a sudden, it's like, oh, what happened to Wilbur? Where did Wilbur go?
Right. Okay.
The plot thickens.
Really loving that name.
Yeah.
Now, how are we going to keep it pure other than the Puritans?
Well, they don't, it's not bloody deaths. Wilbur gets a splinter, but because of the time period, he dies from
the
infection.
Oh,
and
my God.
And there's a hemlock death.
Yeah, there's a hemlock death.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a little, some malaria.
Yeah.
And the usual thing. People just aren't getting enough vitamins.
And there's also a side story with a Native American shaman.
The shaman, yeah.
So that's how she learns about all these herbs and stuff.
Right, and then she's like, guys, these are poisonous. You're killing yourself.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that this could be an option not only to start on PureFlix, end up on Netflix.
Sure.
With a little bit of a racier tone, dying from more than infections.
Okay, like STDs. Is that where you're going with this?
Oh, I was going with
Or-
cold blood murder.
Cold blood.
Could you tell
murder.
I'm into
Okay.
murder?
You really do like murder. People have said
Yeah.
that. I didn't think it was true. It is true.
You know, we could even bring in some angle with Croatoa, that whole thing going on.
Oh my God! Signed,
some
sealed,
kind
delivered.
of like historical fiction thing,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I walked in not quite sure about this, but I'm walking out sold.
Yes. Good. Well, it's this is our favorite idea.
I mean, it is worth a lot.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
worth a lot.
Yeah.
Lot of zeros. A lot of zeros.
Yeah,
That's
it's a
good
big
idea.
fat zero.
Yeah, a lot of zeros.
Yeah.
So many zeros.
Yay! That's me
All
clapping.
right, we did it.
That was really
What a
great, you
did it.
guys. That was.
I
Oh my
love
God,
it. I
Regina,
love it.
you
What
guys
and
just
they're
ran
gonna
with
solve what Croatoa and that whole thing stood for.
No.
What it spells out, what it meant. Because they never figured that out. The
it. Yeah,
thing
I
that
don't
was
know
written
what
on the
it's,
tree.
the acronym.
Yeah, they never figured out what that meant.
Oh my!
So our show's gonna solve that.
Did you?
It's
have a
happening,
title for
guys.
this?
In case. Oh.
Oh yeah. Well, so on PureFlix, what do you think it should be called? Because Netflix, we can go wild.
Oh right. Oh. my
Something
goodness.
like The Puritan's Tale. Maybe like go off the
Just
back
really
of
something
the.
that's working. Let's just take something that's
success.
Or
Something that's already working.
Puritan's Pride.
Puritan's pride.
Ooh, that might get the LGBTQ.
pure murder.
Pure murder.
Yeah.
Murder, but pure. Oh my God.
Puritanical
All right, so
murders.
from big blockbuster to murder mystery.
Puritan
Pure.
murder mystery.
Pure.
All right, well, congratulations to both of us for
We've done it.
selling somehow.
We're all going to the Tonys next year.
There's still one thing we didn't solve. Who's starring?
Oh right.
Yeah.
Big
Well, I
names.
was so
So no
sold.
title, no stars.
I was
Well, now it
sold
is.
on the
That's why
on
it's
the
on
premise.
PureFlix.
right.
You know, I would like to get some up and comers. We have a big name producer.
Well, I
we're
can tell
fine.
you who's gonna play the murderess, or
Yes.
is she?
Dude, I wasn't even going to say it, but you should tell them. You should tell them.
Well, you already know.
Nicole Kidman.
It's Nicole Kidman.
It's Nicole
Well.
effing Kidman.
I know,
She's in
and you're
everything.
not kidding.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
She's already signed on board.
And I think that the shaman should be Haley Joel Osment.
Oh wow,
Well,
that took a
someone's
turn.
got to give him a job.
Yeah.
What happened to him, too? Did you see him? He's so puffy.
Is he?
He's large.
Is he? Are we cutting this part out?
No, it's
Is he? No, but is he swollen?
Hell
Like
no.
is
Right,
he
then you're where you're
drinking?
like, what's
No, this is-
happening?
No, is
when
he
somebody's
This is an
puffy, you
intervention.
get worried. This is an intervention. He's obviously coming with Tina Fey. Sorry, two birds,
Oh
one
my god!
stone.
But like, is he drinking a lot?
I don't know.
Haley.
I don't know. I mean, people, I'm not as thin as I was when I was 20 or whatever. You know what I
Well,
mean?
Oh yeah, I think he just maybe has been drinking alcohol.
I don't know.
That's
But
what this
don't know
photo
either.
suggests.
he looks rough. So, anyway.
The right stuff. Yeah.
All right. So let's move on.
Oh, I'm older than him. Congrats.
You've done it.
Well done. Thanks for jumping in on that, Regina.
Oh, you're welcome.
That was lots of fun. All right. Now that we got y'all warmed up.
Oh, yeah, I see. Now I see you guys work.
You know about
I see our
warmups.
play.
Some people ply you with liquor. We just do improv. Okay. I want to start with this.
Yes.
What is your very favorite moment? We'll lay the groundwork in a second of
Okay.
who you are, but when you're not doing regular stand-up comedy, but getting an audience warmed up is a little different.
Yes.
What is your favorite moment that maybe doesn't happen every time, but when it does, it's like golden moment?
I think you wind up, or I feel like I wind up really connecting with people in a way. Like people, they're strangers a lot of the times that come in and I don't know them. And sometimes something will happen during the show where we'll have like a moment or a laugh, or if it's somebody's birthday and I make them feel special, something will happen where people a lot of times at the end will like hug and or kiss me goodbye. As if we've like really spent a lot of time together. And like sometimes they'll message me after. And it's just funny when I think like you're a person that went on vacation maybe, and then you decided to go to the View and you're like, let me just see this show.
Yeah.
And then some moment happens where all of a sudden you're like, you made my birthday, or that was the greatest day. Or they actually told me at the beginning for Veterans Day, we had the whole audience was filled with veterans. And there was this one guy in the audience, Alejandro, and they switched his seat a couple times. So I just kept making jokes, like checking in with Alejandro, and he messaged me after and said he was walking to the parking lot and people kept yelling out Alejandro.
Yeah.
And they were like chanting Alejandro. So stuff like that, I think, where it's like, it's not your intention by any means, but like these little magical things will happen and people can take that with them for the rest of the day, or I mean, for as long as they want.
Yeah.
So I think it's a lot of that kind of stuff where you don't set out. I always think of comedy as like, I need to do it because I need it for myself. So part of that is almost selfish to me. You know what I mean? I need people to laugh for me.
Wow,
but then when you
yeah.
give people a gift sometimes and they're so grateful to you, you're like, oh, maybe it's not as selfish as I think it is sometimes, because you're giving people back. But like, I need it just as much as other people need it, I think.
Yeah.
That's the way I would explain it.
I love that. Going a little bit on winging off of Mark's question, do you find communally in the audience there's ever a moment where people come in and maybe it's crickets or it's low energy and there's like a deluge or like a clicking moment of everyone where they get on the same page with you? Or do you find that they come in adrenaline high already?
Yeah, I'd like to hop on. I'd like to piggyback on her piggyback question.
Keep
for a second.
going back
well,
and forth.
just
Yeah.
no need for Regina to come in.
Yeah, 3 days later. Okay, now just to be clear, the question was.
She touched on an important thing. Your job is to rev up to rev up the audience so they are primed for the main show.
Yes.
But everybody knows that when you do stand up, it doesn't work every time. Every audience is different. Some audiences, just the random assemblance of ingredients makes that audience different than the one yesterday that was the funnest Orlando Park-like audience ever.
Right.
And then today it's a bunch of stick in the muds, some dentist convention that came through that sat down and they're just like, entertain me. And it's
No
just not the
offense to
same.
dentists.
No.
Okay. I love your work.
Exactly. There's gonna be no dentist out of this. I heard
Are you an
on the show.
anti-dentite? Just
I am.
saying.
So on top of what Danielle was asking, I guess my question is, how do you handle when your entire job is to rev them up and it just doesn't work that day as much as other days? Or is that not what
No, it happens. And I think I just have to work harder. One day they were like, oh, we have a lot of students from France. And I was like, great. And it's an audience of almost 200. And I think maybe we had like 100 people from France and they were like students. I can't remember if they're like high school aged, I think. And then I went over to them and I was like, oh, you guys are from France. And then I said, what are you studying? And one of them was like, South of France. And I was like, oh, do you guys not speak English? So then like that will happen a lot too, where then I have to realize it's not about me. You've literally filled this audience with a bunch of people and maybe they are not so well versed in English. And you can speak a little English, but when somebody's doing comedy and they talk very fast, you're lost.
Are your
and even when the
producers
ladies talk,
of that? Do they
right?
get-
But then I try to find a way. So then, and like one time we had a big group of like German students, so I'll try to like relate in a way. Or I was like using Google Translate on my phone, and then there was a Canadian woman. She's like, "I'll read that because I speak French." So I'll try to get enough people involved, and then people will be like, a lot of audience members come back. Just so you know, there's audience regulars. That's a thing that exists.
That's so
much like you
cool.
doing being a Tony C filler 4 times. But people come back and be like, "Oh my god, I was here with the German guys. I was here with like the French students," because they'll remember like something silly that like may have happened. But it basically just means I have to completely change my approach because I've really been thrown like a curveball and unexpected. And sometimes if it's a Monday and I'm like, if you guys don't speak English, but then I'm like, let's do this, or let's try to find a way to come together.
But I still didn't get my question.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
remember,
because
this was a lot
my
of questions.
piggyback
It was
distracted
a
me.
lot
I'm
of
so
Sure,
sorry.
it was a lot of
questions. No, all
questions.
the
Go back,
question
go back.
is, do you ever see a communal energy shift in the room? Or do like from low to high, or do people come in already like on an adrenaline? I'm just
Sure.
curious because as a live performer myself,
Right.
but I'm an actor. So when the lights come up, there's a proscenium
Right.
and you're there and I'm here, but you can still feel the energy. So, but I was just wondering for you, and if you feel a click in the room,
Right.
or
They
something.
usually come in pretty excited for the
Okay.
most part, but it could be anything. Like if they were waiting around for pre-tape, or this one day Whoopi was sick, so Whoopi wasn't there, and Idris Elba was supposed to be on because he just
Oh,
hosted
yeah.
SNL and he got sick.
Oh, no.
And then I was like, oh my goodness, this is terrible.
So
and
who was on
But then
instead?
literally I said to everyone else, I was like, oh well, they know, and they were like, well, no, Regina, we didn't tell them. You have to tell them. And I was like, I cannot break their hearts twice. And I literally, you felt everything drop in the room when I said that, and you could just tell it was like, and like people that are dressed to the nines for Idris Elba,
Oh my
and then I had to say he wasn't there. I felt so terrible, and like literally, we wound up doing like a View Your Deal later, and like people were like, "We better be getting all those deals." Remember, Idris Elba was supposed to be like. I felt almost personally responsible, and it has nothing to do with me, but I am
Right.
also the messenger. So sometimes,
Absolutely. Well, but what about like the pre-taping thing? Because I went to a Regis and Kelly taping once,
Right.
and my love of my life, Patrick Stewart, was supposed to be there, and they'd pre-taped it the day before, but
so
they pretended.
right, that's terrible too. Because then people will be like, "Oh, where's so and so?" And then I have to be like, "Oh, we did that already." So that, and usually that's my news to share. I get to be the one.
Oh,
Do
but
you-
you're so
which is
funny
rough.
doing
I
it.
try to
Good
like
for
really turn it
you.
around, obviously, but
Yeah.
So they do they just okay? And here's our warm-up comedian Regina. Blah blah blah. You do your thing, and then it's back to the producers, or do you introduce the stars of the show? to
no,
the
so it'll be
audience?
me, and then right till we get like 2 minutes before airtime, we'll put music on. I'll be like, let's dance our way into this show, and everybody gets on their feet and like rocks out, and then we count it down, and then you hear like the voiceover, which
Yeah.
then introduces the ladies, and then the show starts.
So you get to dance with everyone.
yeah, I have a lot of videos dancing in my Insta stories.
So let's
Oh, that's awesome.
let's put on the Wayback Machine a little bit, and let's
Yes.
rewind. Backwards. Okay,
Okay.
so we're gonna come back up to the
Got it.
view in a
We'll
second.
come- okay.
So, how does what you're doing right now so I know that being a warm-up comedian is not the only thing you do, but right now that's your main gig. Yes?
Sure.
Because you do it every day.
Yes,
or
that's
every
true. No,
weekday.
that's true. It is everything.
And that's the thing catching the most attention now in terms of the thing you're most likely to
Yeah,
mention.
if you asked me what I did, that's what I would tell you.
Okay.
There you go.
How does doing this play into your, pardon the pun, view of where your trajectory you intended the first time you said, I think I'm going to tell jokes and that's kind of what I want to do? Is that even what you wanted to do?
No, I would say I was always a person that was very funny, and people would always say that I should do stand up. Like for most of my life, I've always been funny from when I was little. There's not a version of Regina that's not funny, to
Yeah.
be honest.
Did you go to college?
I did. I went to Barnard
And
College.
oh, very good.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah.
what did you
Now I
study?
tell poop jokes. What?
Yes.
I was an English major.
Oh,
I think I kept telling my parents, I was like, oh, maybe I'll be a lawyer because I felt like that's what they wanted to hear. And also, my family has a family business, and I feel like they really wanted me to do that.
those were the biggest jokes of all.
Oh, God. But then I would just always intern in television. So it was like television was calling to me. And then, like, it was always being funny, always saying I would do stand up. And then I was like working in TV a lot. And then,
Yeah. But
so-
you majored in English, and guess what?
Right, and I was
you
in the
speak English every
right,
day,
exactly.
so you nailed
my,
it.
my Italian cousins were like, "Why would you study English, Regina? You speak English." And I'm like, maybe I should have translated that to literature.
Yes, there you
instead
go.
of saying I studied English.
But you're using your degree.
It's true.
Anyway.
Well, I was in New York City, so that was great.
Great.
But let me think. So then, like, I just started interning in television while I was at Barnard. So, like, Eyewitness News. I was always drawn to TV. I think I knew I liked TV and entertainment. But I think it took me a very long time to figure out what I wanted. In a
Yeah.
way, you know what I mean? I knew what I liked, but I didn't know what I wanted. Like people could be like, "This is what I," and I'm like, I couldn't have told you that.
Do you know that now?
No, yes, I do. I love doing this. I love being a warm-up comedian.
Is this the destination, or is this what you're doing now and there's a much bigger, different destination?
It's not the destination. I think people always ask, like, where do I want to go now? And I'm really happy doing this. And I can tell you, I didn't know I wanted to do this until when I auditioned for the job that I have right now.
Okay,
so that's also crazy.
Do you have something else? I know you're kind of saying people have asked you, but I'm trying to ask a slightly different question.
No, I know. I feel like I'm all over the place.
Let me know. It's good. It's good. No, it's fine.
Thanks,
I'm clarifying that I understand the question you say people ask you, but I'm not trying to ask, like, what's next?
Right.
I'm trying to ask, how does this fit in with the master plan? And if you knew, your dying breath and you say, I got to do that.
Right.
The thing is to me, the dream is to star in my own major network television.
That's sitcom. For you, Mark? No, I'm asking.
I'm saying
hypothetical. Sorry.
Although for me, the dream coming to New York as an actor was to have a regular, to be a series regular on a major network show. That would have been particularly like a single camera comedy would have been ideal.
Right.
But so for you anyway, that and it can change tomorrow. It's okay.
Right.
But right now, as you said, is there something that's out there? And I know it's nice. It's like, sure, I'll take that. Or,
pay me
millions,
I know what you mean.
Fine,
I feel like I said all the time,
really
I would
want?
do that. I feel like that's a hard question that I almost feel like I don't have an answer. Do you know when you're happy in the moment? And I feel like it took so long to get here that I love this moment. And I would be happy to warm up a second show. Like, I'd be happy to even do more of what I'm doing now.
That's awesome.
But I can't, like, it's like, oh, would it be a Netflix special? I don't know. Like, I can't say there's a thing. Like, I think actually, but if I was ever on TV as me talking, like maybe some kind of a talking head show. Like, I did a couple pilots for stuff like that. I like talking as me.
I'm going to pitch you
more than
to develop your own show. You ready?
Okay, yes.
Develop a show that's about TV warm-up comedians who have formed a kind of community together. And
it does. Well, someone's doing a documentary on it right now.
Well, there you go. Well,
are you going to be in it?
I think so. We're talking about that, but I think awesome. It is a crazy community that also I didn't really know anybody else that did it. Like, I basically just got thrown into it, and I was like, "Hi, I'm the new girl." Yeah, and then everyone's been reaching out, and they've been really great. Like the guys that do it already, to sort of be like, "Oh, we should get."
We had Harrison Greenbaum. You know Harrison. We had him on the show. I've known him for I've known him longer than you. Sorry, Mark.
Oh, that's quite all right. Well, how long we've known each other is still up for debate.
Right, it's
so,
true.
It is.
Not really answer that.
So, is this doc going to be on PureFlix?
Obviously.
So, Regina, I saw in your bio amongst many things.
Yes.
Frankly, and it's really nice to see the diversity of your bio. Where did SNL fit into this? Was this just one of the shows that you interned on?
Yeah.
And I would imagine a show like SNL is actually a fairly coveted intern spot.
Yes.
So how did that come to be?
Okay, so I had interned at
and what was it like doing it?
All right, that's a good one. I had interned at the weekend edition of the Today Show at NBC.
Okay.
And after that internship, I put my resume back in the pool to get another NBC internship, and I wrote a cover letter. And the cover letter, I said I wanted to intern at Conan or Saturday Night Live. And they were sort of like, "This will never happen." First they asked me if I knew anybody at either place, and I said no. And they were like, "You will not. This won't happen then." Basically, like they were like, "These are internships that people get who are like basically connected. It's not gonna happen.
They're your niece,
yeah." So I was like, "Oh, okay, great." So randomly, I got a call when I was at college, and I was like living with a bunch of girls, like my suite mates, and somebody from the design department at SNL, they needed an intern. And they had never gone to the intern pool before at Human Resources, but they just went and looked at the resumes, and then they saw mine. So they called me. And so I literally get this message like saying it's like Joe from Saturday Night Live, like blah, blah. And I like lose my mind when I hear the message.
You're probably like, "Is this you, Susie? This isn't
It's
funny."
crazy. So I like have to leave a message back. And of course the message back I leave is insane. Because I'm like, "It's Regina DeCicco calling back for Joe. But I just want you to know if you've called and I'm not there, leave a message. I have very responsible roommates. Like I'm sure anyone will give me the message." Like I was just like, like stupid. I'm like, idiot. But anyway, like,
hi, this is Regina again. If you can, I hope you haven't played my first message.
It was ridiculous.
Just delete it.
It was ridiculous. So then they called me in, and one of the guys interviewed me first at his apartment before he even brought me into the studio.
Well, that seems legit.
So, like, I told my friends that I was doing that. I didn't tell my mom because I was like, that's crazy. My parents are going to think I'm nuts.
Yeah.
But I also feel like it was a little bit of the screening process to be like, I'm not just going to bring you into SNL to interview you. Let me make sure I'm not crazy. So, like, I met with him and we got along, and then he brought me into this studio to interview me. And then I talked to everybody, and it was very funny because it was set design. Like, I interned at set design and later worked in that department.
That's crazy.
And I had no experience doing that whatsoever, but I always had loved Saturday Night Live.
But you were there.
So they were like, she's kind of a resource, even though she doesn't know anything about what this department does. And they were basically like, we can teach her to do set dressing, like we can teach her to do all this stuff. And that's what wound up happening. So I interned for 1 season. And it was amazing. Like, when I interned there, it was Will Ferrell's last season.
Oh my God, I was going to ask what cast.
Was when I interned there.
Wow.
And it was very crazy. And I want to say, I just remember the first show, when the first show ended and I was standing on the studio floor and it was good nights. Like, I was just crying because I was like, I can't believe like I'm here and this is happening. This is ridiculous. And then later they wound up bringing me back to work, to be like the design assistant and work in that department.
Wow.
So it was like
cool.
a really wild.
Successful
and then
internship.
I did that for a while. I think when I left, it was Kristen Wiig's first season.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
So,
Wow.
but it was like an amazing, but I can tell you, like, Saturday Night Live, like the guys getting coffee at craft services, like the guy that operates the boom is like almost as funny as the people like in the like everybody there they're not right in that good way where because it's like you're literally there the whole week.
Yeah.
So like everybody's with each other and like it was always so funny, like what was going on. And I remember like the energy is like we're literally saving lives. Like you feel like you're saving lives. But I mean, that's what happens with like live comedy, I feel like.
By the way, tiny trivia note, Kristen Wiig and I went to the same high school.
Look at
Just
that.
saying.
That's cute. Did you see her in the halls?
No, I didn't know her in high school. We were different years. I'm 52.
Well, I don't know how old she is. Okay.
She's not 52.
Well, you both look great for whatever
Thank
age
you.
you are.
She's amazing.
Great.
She's one of my favorites.
I have a quick question. Selfish. Were you there during the Lonely Island years, or was that later?
No, they came. Andy Samberg and all those
And
guys had
Yorma?
like come on.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool,
They
cool.
had Andy came on towards the end of me.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah, I was there with Andy.
Yorma Taccone lives in my neighborhood, and I had him on a talk show that I produce, and so I just
They were always sweethearts. They were
yeah.
really
Oh my
nice guys.
God! But I always heard like their stories of SNL,
Right.
his stories. So I love hearing it from
Different
the set design.
perspectives,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's
Now,
super
I know
cool.
that many of the sketches come from the cast members.
Yes.
Either they write them or they've thought of them and work with the writers to develop them. Are they involved in the set design process as...
What'll happen is, so like I would be on set and they would be on set. So like when they're blocking something, that's when we basically like know what parts of the set were on camera and like where we really needed to like dress things. Or you could like be like, I made these 3 walls into a living room, and then it would be on camera and you'd be like, the way they shot it, you're like, oh, it looks like that room is empty because I dressed all the wrong areas. Or sometimes it's like, I need a light switch right here.
Right.
Or like this needs to happen over here. So it winds up becoming a little more like when they'd get in this space and then you'd be like, guys, this is what we need. And then they'd either like build it at the shop or the guy that was out shopping for props would get props.
Yeah.
So like it is organic and would happen like in real time.
So who...
Kristen Wiig's 45.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Elsie.
I mean,
That was quick.
you're not that far off
Right.
of school.
You were almost there at
bad.
the same time.
I mean, you could have gotten
Yeah.
held back. She could have gotten forward.
right.
I don't know.
Okay.
I
So
can't do math.
I
You're
like
nice,
how you
let me
said
tell
he
you.
was held back.
You would.
Sorry.
You would.
So by the way, I love the fact that you're on The View now, and all we want to talk about is SNL.
No,
So-
but I mean, I understand that too. But in a crazy way, like being at Saturday Night Live was an amazing experience. And then part of me was like, what if I peaked early and I don't ever work at a place as cool
Isn't
as
success
SNL?
crazy like that? You get success and
Like
then you
that
go,
was my
what if I
first
peaked
job
early?
coming out of college
Look,
was Saturday Night Live
Can I just say something? How long have you been at The View?
since November.
Okay.
Still pretty
So
new.
I would just like to point out, you work with Whoopi Goldberg.
Oh,
every
yeah,
day,
no, it's
or you
true.
work in the
Yes,
same
yes,
environment.
yes, yes.
Okay. I mean, with all due respect to all the other ladies
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
that. Okay. Whoopi,
Right.
everybody else.
Yeah.
So, in my mind, my personal.
No, but I know what you mean. No, there are moments when like, because she's great, Whoopi, and that like the stand up in her is still there. So
That's
like
great.
she'll hear me doing something with the audience, and she'll be like, "What was that?" And like she'll get involved.
That was an impression she just did.
Yeah, and then when we're like doing banter, like I'm like in my head being like, "This is crazy." Like when we're like goofing around.
Yeah, that's
Because I'm
so
like, "This
cool.
is nuts."
Do you do a legit Whoopi impression?
I don't do a legit Whoopi impression, but I do like sometimes like channel the Whoopi.
Because of the nature of your voice.
Yes.
It does.
But I feel like I have to. If I'm saying like
lives in the
Whoopi,
same-
if I said Whoopi said or Joy said, like I'd probably give you a little something,
Yeah.
kind of as I talk. But yeah, no, it is crazy. Like,
Yeah.
and I had worked with Whoopi once before. She had a sitcom on was it on NBC?
Wasn't
It was
it called
called
Whoopi?
Whoopi,
Yeah.
and it was only
Was-
one
was
season.
Ted Danson in that with
And
her?
No. Oh my goodness. But Mary Testa was in it. Speaking of the Tonys,
Love Mary.
So
Oh, I'm sorry. Ted Danson was in that weird movie where he plays a car salesman, and
yes,
her daughter he was the sperm donor or something
Okay.
yes.
a long time ago. Anyway,
So it wasn't, but was Andy McDowell in it?
No.
Okay.
No Andy McDowell.
Well, dang it. I don't want to
we
see
can't.
it.
We could not bring that full circle.
okay. Anyway,
So what about you worked, did
So
you
I
have
was
like
the
a guest
assistant
star?
to
on
the
Whoopi?
executive producers
Whoa.
on that show? So that was something totally different. But Whoopi was like the coolest back then. Like I just remember, like my parents would come to this show,
well,
and
that
she,
was the comic relief days and all that too.
yeah,
right?
yeah. So it was just like so good. So like she would like let my parents hang out in her dressing room a little bit, and like I remember like I would be like, "Thank you so much, like for being so nice to my mom," and she'd be like, "Regina, your mother's like everybody's mother," and I was like, "She's right." Like my mom is like a very loving. So she was just great. So then when the first day I auditioned for this job during the first commercial break, she made me tell the audience how we knew each other.
Oh.
That's
Which was really sweet. So she was like, "Tell them how you know me." So I told them.
So listen, you know Whoopi, you're close enough to her, and known her for some time, and you've worked on this show for 7-8 months now, or whatever it's been. Enough of that time was the period where Whoopi was very ill.
Oh my goodness.
So my question for you is what was it like working on the show during those weeks that Whoopi's health was very questionable and very dangerous, and no one knew if she would come back or if she'd be okay or
God.
how long it would be, and blah, 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 blah. What was it like?
It was terrible. And actually, to go back to the point that I made, I just remember in my head being like, oh, it's always so rough to tell people when Whoopi's not there. And I learned that pretty early on because that's the thing. She's like a mega star. So if you're coming from another country, you might not be watching The View, but you know Whoopi Goldberg.
Yes.
So people would come from usually they come all over and want to see the movie star Whoopi Goldberg. So during that time, I mean, it was terrible that she was sick, but like every day it was telling people she wasn't there. And it was rough and it was awful. But then did you see the day she surprised us and she came back and only one executive producer, like a very small number of people know. The ladies didn't know. I didn't know. So all of a sudden Joy sang like Whoopi should come back soon, and she came out and everybody was on their feet. They organically started chanting Whoopi, but like everyone was crying.
Oh my God.
And I had literally said that morning that it was just such a good audience. Like what we were saying before, this audience came in, they were like on fire. They were doing everything I said. Like it was amazing energy. And I said as an audience, you guys deserved this because they were they were good. Like you were a beautiful audience. They were excited no matter what. Like, cause I would say like Whoopi's sick, but we're going to send her all that love, like through our clap, like I tried to keep it like, I'm like, she's watching at home, even though she's not here. Let's send her the love. Like, let's still be excited.
Do you have to keep them going through commercial breaks?
Yes.
Okay. So
that's
how many cups of coffee do you have a day?
I do one big cappuccino in the morning, but I have take a little time to enjoy the view, like water bottle, and then everyone's always like, "What's in there?" And I'm like,
"Go juice."
Yeah, everyone's like, "What's going on?"
Who has been a guest? I'm going to put you in positive territory here. Who has been a guest that's been on the show in the period of time that you've been a part of it that was starstruck you, where you're just like, I cannot believe I'm in the same space as this person?
So that's funny. I almost feel like I'm immune to that feeling because of Saturday Night Live.
This is why I'm asking.
But that's why he's like, was there anyone?
I don't know who would do that now. I can tell you when I was interning at Eyewitness News, this was like back in 2000.
Do you know Bill Ritter?
Yeah, Bill Ritter was there when I was. That's
he worked with my dad 30 years ago at the LA Times.
Funny. I feel like
I know Bill.
That I feel like he was he new back then, but I can't. We could be
potentially on that network. Anyway, he's a name.
He's a name. So I was interning at Eyewitness News, and Mike Meyers was going to be on live with Regis and Kathy Lee.
Mike Myers.
And I was like upset. He was my SNL guy. I was a huge Wayne's World fan. He used to do like a Wayne impression.
Oh my God, amazing.
So that was like, so that for me, that was one of those. And like, I was a very good intern. I'll say this. So the internship coordinator brought me downstairs, and I remember they said to all the other interns, like, did you guys all get permission to be here? And nobody had, and I had. And I had brought a picture of me dressed as Wayne from like 8th grade. And she was like, let me take the picture and I'll get it signed for you. And I was like, oh my God, that'd be amazing. I think her name was Kelly. And then she was like, you should do it. And she sent me in the room. And I lost. And it was funny. Noah Wiley was in the green room. I put my back to Noah Wiley and started crying to like Mike Meyers. So I feel like that, I don't think that will ever happen again. One, it's like you're younger, you get older, you see more stuff, you get a little more shit.
Was he good about it?
He was amazing. He was so great. So he took a picture with me. He signed the thing. We hugged. It was like everything I wanted to be. Oh no, because he was coming down the hallway, and instinctively I started saying before she told me to go in, I was like, I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy. Like, and then he started going back. You're most definitely worthy. You're most definitely. So it wound up being like a really sweet. So I don't know if that could even happen again.
So one of the things on The View that is gorgeous. Known for. Mm-hmm. Maybe not by design, but by execution, is arguments.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm not going to ask you dirt stuff.
Sure.
But my question is, it can get tense in there. And I know it's very entertaining in a way that it's tense.
Right.
But the air can be thick in there when there's an argument, especially when they go to commercial in an awkward moment.
Right.
And so how do you think about, okay, this is happening. So you don't just have your thing like, well, I do the same thing every time I go to commercial, no matter what's happening.
Right.
You know, okay, this has been an argument. I go this way. Things are crazy and funny, and I go this way. How do you think about that strategically?
That's the great question I want to know too.
Whether it's cerebrally strategic or gut strategic, what is your strategy depending on what's
It's
happening?
both. I think I come in big, I come in hot. Like after, because it's like everyone's watching an argument, and then they're like, everybody's so intense. And then, when you cut to the commercial, you need everybody to get big. It's like, it can't be like, you can't cut to commercial. This is radio. I don't know why I just acted that out. But
she's clapping.
I'm clapping like a silent clap.
What she did is it's basically a sea turtle having a stroke, I think was what it was.
Golf clap hybrid.
Yes, that's what it was. Yes.
So I just come in big and try to get them back on track.
But do you try to bring levity, or do you allow?
No. I'm not going to comment on what happened.
Yeah, like you're
right.
I'm like, well, that was sad.
Right. Yeah. No. That. And we've also had sad too. I mean, that happens too. It's a lot that gets like very.
I know.
And so I've spoken to other warm-up comedians, and what's funny is they're always like, oh, you do commercials? Because a lot of other warm-up comedians, depending on the show, they don't have to warm them up during commercials. Like if it's taped, they stop, they reset, they keep going. And I'm like, wait, you're not doing commercials? Yeah. But then everybody else is like, oh, like we don't have fights on my show. So everyone is like, oh yeah, no, I guess it's a lot of work for you to just like try to get or like something crazy will happen. Then we'll have to do like a view your deal segment where I have to be like, forget that went on. Look at these deals.
Yeah.
So it's just like a very funny.
All right, I'm going to switch up a little bit just for a moment. Some last questions here. One thing I'd like to talk to you about is how you got involved with contributing to the Howard Stern show.
Oh.
How did that come to be, and how do you look at the humor that you do for a show like that, or a talent like that, versus the type of humor that you're doing for, say, a show like The View?
Pure Network.
And I'm not just talking.
Right.
I'm not just talking about dirty versus not or something like that. I'm talking about, okay, I know what kind of humor is going to make Howard laugh,
right?
And if Howard laughs, that's all I really need to do, or at least if Robin laughs, but. Because Robin laughs okay too, but she'll laugh at almost anything. So, versus I gotta get 200 people to laugh. So Can you talk
It's,
about how
I mean,
you're
it's
thinking
it was
about that?
another stand-up comic that I know that's affiliated with the show that we knew each other, and he was like, "You have a great voice. I feel like you'd be great to like come in, do like the calls, like do stuff in the studio, play like different characters." So I was like, "Oh, that would be great." I think for me, it's funny because it's so different, and then if you're good at that kind of a thing, it's almost like coming to terms with yourself. You're like, I operate on a lot of different facets. So like my husband recorded like one clip. I don't know if you listen to Stern, but I was JD's wedding planner. So we did this like whole shtick, and my husband recorded it off Sirius, and then I had texted it to my brother, and he was in the car with his fiance and like his soon-to-be mother-in-law, and my brother's like, "We put on the clip," and I was like, "You did what?"
Oh my
So then he said like his mother-in-law was like, "This is Regina? Oh my God."
Oh my
But I was like, I said, but it's a different Regina. But then part of me is like, but that's also who I am.
Yeah.
Like I can also I can also be like very quick and doing a character and a voice and have that be totally different than what I do with the late. But it's like everybody, you're just totally like multifaceted.
So this is literally like you being hired as a character actor to
basically, I guess, to come in and do different stuff. If I came up with an idea, I would pitch them stuff, and if they thought it was funny, they'd be like, "Let's talk about it.
Gotcha.
Let's come up with a script." But then also, if you want to abandon it, like do what you feel.
Have you-
They were so great about trusting instinct. That's the one thing I think I went in being like, this is going to be such a like all boys club. They were literally like the most welcoming, supportive. Like I feel like I was so nervous to be there, and they were like, "No, Regina." Like the Stern, like Howard's guys are like unbelievable and supportive.
Have you been in studio?
Yes.
You've been in studio, so you've met Howard.
I met Howard, then Howard was in the hallway. Howard also came to The
okay.
View,
Okay.
so it came full circle.
That's
Okay, gotcha.
amazing.
So it was like a very funny
I actually believe that his movie
Private
Private Parts. I actually believe that that's a pretty good view at who Howard Stern actually is. I really do. Have you seen that movie?
No, I
Danielle?
haven't.
It's actually a really
Yeah.
quite good movie, I think. It's basically a biography of Howard Stern through his career.
I gotta
and
see it.
it's really, and he plays himself.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
okay.
From teenager on.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
That's
But
cool.
and
he
Robin
didn't-
plays herself.
And he didn't sugarcoat it.
No.
No.
That's
that
cool.
Was, yeah, it was-
No, I think he wrote it. I think
Yeah.
Yeah.
and he makes fun of himself truly.
That's
But I
cool.
believe that that's a relatively good look at who really
Yeah.
is there.
Were you going to ask something, Mark?
Yeah, but I can wait.
No, I'm not gonna. I'm
stopped
not
and
gonna
you-
ask Regina something. I just have to say something about her in front of her.
Okay.
You know how that's weird? No, just kidding. I'll say it to her. I'm gonna say it. I'm just going
How about you
for it.
go ahead and say it?
What?
We've announced it now.
Okay, you guys. I'm gonna say something. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, now I'm being rude. No, but it's crazy to me that I'm hearing about all these other comedy jobs and being a warm-up comedian and having all of these, if you will, formats or sort of like skeletons that you have to work within. Because the time that I saw Regina do comedy, I think it was like, I don't know, like a 7-minute set or
Right.
10 minutes
I
or
mean,
something.
I can't remember exactly, but
No, I don't. I remember the set very well though. But it was just a straight up pure flicks. No, just kidding. It was like just a straight up like pure freaking, you're up on the stage, you have a mic, you're here. And I felt like I was in your living room or something. I felt like it was so organic, and that connection was that's what made me turn to my friend and say, who the heck is that person? You know?
Yeah.
So like my time I saw her perform first was like no frills, nothing, regular old comedy. And that is like the respect I have over anything else.
So how much
You
of
know?
your set when you're
welcome.
doing stand-up and also
Sure.
doing warm-up is jokes that have been written, if you will, versus you working with the audience and it being in the moment?
Well, it was funny because the warm-up gig came at a very funny time where my sets were becoming increasingly more and more percentage-wise crowd work. Like I was enjoying that more. I have certain jokes I have that I love, but I was loving those real moments where if you're laughing in the audience, I'm laughing just as hard as you because I'm like, what just happened? Or like, what did we just uncover? So I found like I was doing sets that were more and more crowd work and like less and less of my jokes. And then I was in this weird little conundrum of like, what am I supposed to? And people be like, oh, do you want to do a late night set? And then part of me is like, I'm not even really enjoying my jokes anymore. Like I love talking to people. So then crowd work happened like at the right time. I like to weave them together. So if I'm doing a stand-up set, I'm going to weave together
Yeah.
jokes and crowd work, but at The View, it's mostly all crowd work. Just because it's you never know what's gonna like the other day there were two guys that were married and they both happened to be named Gary. They were older gentlemen, and all of a sudden I was like, what if I just made them have a dance off together? And these two older Garys both got up and like everyone, they were recording it backstage because they were watching it on cameras, and like everybody was dying, but it was like the silliest thing. And then the audience just started chanting, "Go Gary,
go Gary!"
Like it was so
and you don't know
crazy.
which one it is,
and you're like, I don't even know what's happening or
That's
what
hilarious.
this is. Or is this like comedy? But it was just like an amazing moment of like that. Just it wouldn't happen any other way. But it's like you're talking to them, and it's like, wait, you're both named Gary,
and you did your job. Like you left that day being like, I really did my job well.
Both Garys were hugging me when they left, and their wives were so excited. It's stuff like that. That's just
I thought they were a gay couple.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
No, it was two guys married to other people.
We thought it was a gay
that's
couple
funny.
named Gary.
No, two guys married to other people, both named Gary.
I'm
sorry, guys. Is this story terrible now?
No,
Did this story lose all of its luster?
It's
a
gone.
little bit.
Terrible.
It was
It's lost
funnier
some
when they were
luster.
gay, but I think
Sorry,
it's still
let's
like
relive it. Edit out the part where they're not.
So the Gary on the right had rainbow sequins, and the Gary on the.
Oh my God, this is great. I want to be
Amazing.
there.
So over the time you have written jokes,
Yes.
I like to ask this question
Yeah.
sometimes, especially with someone that does stand up at a high level. What's one of your jokes that you thought was brilliant? You're so proud of it when you wrote it, and it just never seemed to have connected with people, and you had to park it. Can you think of one that you just don't understand?
Or maybe
why
it
just
rode
didn't
a
work?
wave. Like maybe it was good for a while.
No, I know
and
exactly
then
what you're
it
talking about. I would
coasted
say I don't
down.
know if it's like was brilliant per se, but
Okay.
like one time both my husband and I were sick, and for some reason he like thought he was like he's not a doctor, but he knew he was sicker than I was. Like, and he like really wanted me, and I forget what I asked him to do. So I was like, oh, do you want me to get you anything? And we're sick. I'm in pajamas. I'm clearly not leaving the house. And he was like, I just want some fresh fruit. And I was like, well, there's no fresh food in the house. Like, how am I going to get some? And like, he said he hated me. It was something crazy. And I kept trying to make all these jokes about this incident. And like, it never worked. And in my head, like in the moment, because like sometimes if you're with someone, like me and my husband, it's hard for us to fight if he says something that I think can be turned into a joke. And I tried a million different ways to be like, and it would just be like, meh, meh. Like it never, like I was like, there's something here, Regina. You just have to find it. And I looked very hard, everybody. And I could not find, like there'd be a chuckle here or like something. And I tried different endings. And eventually I was like, stop wasting your time on this dumb story.
Do most of your jokes come from those types of experiences?
Sometimes something will happen quick.
It's not, I'm now going to construct a joke. It's like, it's the retelling of something that happened with perhaps embellishment.
Yeah, or sometimes something will happen and I'll see the joke in my head, or someone will tell me a story and I'll see the funniest version of it, and then that's what I'll tell. So it's like based in truth, but I don't do a lot of like sit down and make myself write jokes. And I know everyone's like, you should write every day and you should do. Everyone's process is different.
So
Yeah.
But I should probably write more.
So other than your crowd
Having
work,
said that.
if someone were to come see you doing stand up
Yes.
proper, would they basically get a look into Regina's life? Is that what they would be experiencing?
I think so. Yeah, definitely. Like I'd probably like definitely.
I mean,
talk
that's
with
what
my
I
husband.
felt.
Yeah.
I feel like
You
when
really
I
got
saw
to
you
know
do comedy,
me.
yeah, because you were talking about your husband and you were talking about your like commute or something. I don't even remember, but I was like, oh, this is like a chick
You would get
I
a
want to
peek
hang
into.
out
I'm not talking
with.
about like peripheral things. It's usually
Okay.
personal in some way, shape, or form.
All right, I want to leave you, at least from my end, with one last question.
Yes.
I you know, I'm sad because I really, really would like to keep talking to you, but
But we can't.
We can't. Well, I mean,
This
we don't
is
have a hard out.
radio.
We can keep going.
we'll just wheel the keg in here.
Done.
And then I
Done. Okay, I'm gonna get deep for a second.
okay.
And you can take a second to think about it because
Okay.
it's not right there. But I really would like you to dig and see if you have an answer. What do you think people don't get about you that you wish that they would, or you're hoping that they eventually will? But through the things you've done or the person that you've been, that it isn't something that you've really been able to communicate out there, or people don't see. If they got that about you, they would know you better.
Oh, that's tough.
And I want to tell you, there doesn't have to be an answer.
Right.
Okay. If you feel like it's all out there, there is not a layer that everyone doesn't see, that's fine, because sometimes people are, not to put words in your mouth, but some people don't realize I'm actually a deeply shy person, and my husband knows that, but nobody else really does. Okay, that would help us understand you better. I'm not saying that's you.
That's definitely not true.
but
to bring you up to speed.
Or another person might be like, I get injured far easily by what people say than I let on. Then that would be something we would understand about you. Those are two examples of the kinds of things that someone could, or it could also be like, nobody would know this about me, but I love knitting. I knit everywhere.
Rosemary.
But based on who the person that I kind of throw out there, you wouldn't see that in me. Right. Okay, so this is more than like, what don't we know about you, but what don't people get about you?
I don't know if it's something people don't get. I mean, I do like to be liked, if that makes sense. Like, I don't like when people don't like me, if you interpreted something wrong. Like, it's a hard emotion for me to deal with. Like, I'll work harder for people to like me sometimes, and maybe even I would work harder for an audience maybe than I should. Like, I think I would like break a sweat and dig deep and be like, no, I'll find a way for us to connect. Yeah. And every once in a while, it's like, no, you know what? Maybe we're just not going to connect. Maybe you're not my crowd. Maybe maybe everything is not lining up. Mm-hmm. Like you can't win every single time and get everybody. But I will try hard. Like, I will try to dig deep, or be like, what is it? What does it you want? What does he want? You want this joke? Should I do this? Like, let me try to find, I want to connect with people. Mm-hmm. And then I almost feel personally responsible if I can't. But the longer you do this, sometimes you have to be like, that's almost impossible.
Yeah. Like, that whole idea, I relate to that a lot, because for a long time, and still I'm working on it, like the idea of like disappointing someone is just like letting someone down. I'm like, oh, but I came here to do a job. And then it's the whole thing of like, oh, it's that part actually isn't my job. I did my job well. I got up and I actually like hit my mark. And it's up to you to figure it out. So that's interesting, though. That that yearning inside.
Right. I always want to do the best job. Even if you want to say, like, you didn't give me a ton of money to do whatever I just did, but I'm like, did I still do the best job with it? Right. Like, that part doesn't matter to me, like that scale.
Well, that's interesting to me. I don't find what you're saying to be shocking that you're that way, but I also would understand how that wouldn't be evident to people, because you have known you for but a couple hours now, but you've I would call it maybe this is too strong a word, but a bodiness to you a little bit, and you're outward in the way that you communicate. Even your voice, it's not a soft voice. There's an energy to your voice.
Vivacious, charismatic, sparkling.
Okay. And the way you present yourself is energetically forward.
Yeah,
at least true. In the short time I've known you. So that doesn't speak to me, someone that is feeling inside, please like me.
Right.
As I exaggerate what you said.
Right, sure.
So as it says, to me, it communicates confidence, which playing psychologist maybe is a way of shielding, I'm going to like you first. Right. I'm going to make sure I'm going to do whatever I can to make you like me.
Or maybe people, you wouldn't think that would affect a comedian, maybe is the point, where you think like they're so jaded and they don't care if you don't like everything. But it's like, no, I do care.
Hi.
Even though maybe I should take it down a notch.
That actually doesn't surprise me that much, because I genuinely believe, with all due respect to all comedians, that pretty much every working comedian out there is messed up, and that's why they're a comedian.
Right. They say that about actors too. Right.
Probably true too. So because
they say that about all humanity.
It all podcasters.
They do.
We all want to be heard. We all want to be loved.
We do.
So I guess the last question for me is this: what is it you would like to be remembered for most of all. And I realize you're not 90 yet,
Right.
and I realize your
Yikes.
career is not at its end yet, and you right now you're living in a
But we
really,
are going to kill you after this podcast.
whether it's
With end of show food.
whether it's the
It's
brightest
cyanide.
spot, whether this is the
Hemlock
brightest spot
and
you'll
knitting needles.
whether this is the brightest spot you will ever enjoy in your life or not. The point
Right.
is that it's a nice bright spot right now.
Right.
So what do you want to be known for? As I'm not even saying like on your deathbed, but as you're able to reverse engineer your life, what would you want to be known for?
I think I do like making a difference. I feel like this is sort of unrelated, but like going back to my dream, I would love to be a cartoon, to talk about like a dream. I know that's before.
Yeah.
To voice a cartoon and to be a cartoon and to be a cartoon that, because a cartoon can live forever. So I think part of that, not only because I'd want to do it, but it's like, I don't know, that just for some reason that just popped in my head when you asked before what I would want. That would actually be it, to do that kind of a thing.
Yes.
But I think, but it's like making a difference. I like to leave a legacy, to somehow leave something behind, like some kind of a legacy. And I know that I leave tons of little legacies all the time. People send the sweetest emails. Yeah. My mom has Alzheimer's. I haven't left the house with her. I took her to the View. Like, we had the most incredible day. I get beautiful notes. So there's like sprinkles of that, but I think I would love it, part of me, like in a bigger way, to know I don't know, like I could leave everything a little brighter than it was before, which I try to do all the time in small ways. And I guess part of me just hopes they add up to something big.
That's cool. You know what's nice about the cartoon thing?
You won that question.
Yeah, you did.
I'm just kidding.
Close, guys.
Finished on a bright spot. That cartoon thing, the great news is that is so plausible. That is so doable. All you really, I think, have to do, because you're already living in a upper echelon of the entertainment world in some fashion, all you really need to do is decide that is now what my mission in life is going to be, and I'm going to start talking to people about it.
Yeah, no, that makes. I'm not putting it out into the universe.
Yeah. You're
I
already a
now.
working comedian.
It's literally on a podcast.
It's literally on a podcast that the universe listens to.
Yeah. You're
hopefully Tina Fey.
You're a working comedian. You know a number of high-power celebrities. You work in certain circles. If you just start talking about that this is a wish of yours, this is a wish of yours, and you start putting it out there.
I'm glad I said it, because it's true. I should be saying that more, and I don't.
I would love someday, I know this isn't the first time you thought about it.
Right.
But maybe you look back on this moment as a moment in which you sort of said it out loud in a way. And that was the beginning of sort of planting a seed that you were encouraged to say it out loud more.
Right.
So I hope that it becomes true when you think of this moment.
The next Tweety Bird.
Right. Exactly.
All right.
Yes.
How, other than watching other than going to The View, how can people connect with you and the things that you're doing?
So my website is reginadecicco.com, REGINADECICCO.com. And through there, then you can find my Instagram, which is regina.decicco. There's a little dot in there. It had to be a dot. And then Twitter is just Regina DeCicco. It's all some variation of Regina DeCicco, but the website will take you everywhere.
Can you imagine if someone didn't decide that was a dot, they said point or blup or something, and that's what we would say, like go to Regina DeCicco .com.
No, it's true. That could have gone a bunch of different ways.
Right?
It's really a period, but we're saying dot. I mean, what's going on?
It could have said period.
Right. We could.
I talk about those
But that's
all the
two
time.
syllables, and people are lazy.
That's right. Yeah. There you go.
But they
So
would
now
find
you're
some
talking.
way,
There
like,
you go.
Right.
like PEDCOM or something.
Yeah,
you
something.
know.
There'd be a yes.
Yes. Anyway, well, everybody go there
Yes.
because there's
Go right
lots of
now.
fun there.
So much fun to be had.
Regina, we're going to do end of show food in 1 second, but I do want to say thank you so much for
Thanks
not
for
just
having
being here, but opening up and sharing.
Thanks.
And I hope it was
Making it fun.
Yeah, it was fun. It was great. You guys are great.
Okay. So,
Yay, we had so much fun.
This is the moment we go away to commercial, and Regina keeps the audience warm
Keep
for
'em
just a
warm.
moment. So we'll be right back with the end of the show, and that means end of the show.
Food.
Hello, you've reached the voicemail of Funny People Talking. We're not here right now, but please leave a message and we'll call you back. Wait for the beep. Beep. Still there? Good. My guess is the schmoes hung up. This is Funny People Talking.
Oh my God, Regina, that was
Oh my God, Regina. Oh my God.
Anyway, it's the show. I don't even know if I can go on. Woo!
I'm so hot.
It's so good.
I'm warm.
It's warm. I'm also warm.
It is the end of the show. You know what that means. It's
goodness.
No,
time.
because you warmed me up.
Oh, got it. Well, I guess I warmed myself up in the process.
Danielle's got her own little show going on the side
It's
over
true.
here. It's time for End of Show Food. That's right. End of Show Food. where
Delicious.
Our good friend producer Elsie has found something very interesting for us to try. It could be a snack, it could be food, it could be a drink. You never know what it's going to be.
I have no idea. Looking everywhere.
Here's how it works, so you know. Our audience already knows, but I want to share it with you. Elsie will explain what she's got, go through it with us. We're not allowed to taste it until she says go.
Okay.
And then we have to experience it, but also rate it on a scale of chickens. The number of chickens that scale is up to you. So it could be a scale of 1,092 chickens, of which you rated it so many.
Sure. Do I have to announce my chicken scale?
We will go through that process
yeah,
when I get there? Okay,
100%.
great. Okay.
All right. And so,
Great.
Elsie,
Just thinking ahead.
Yeah.
what have you procured for all of us
Well,
today?
hopefully none of you have had this before. But
Okay.
So I have Ruffles, mozzarella, and marinara chips.
Whoa.
Ruffles.
I have definitely
Well,
not had those.
You got two Italians here.
Right. I definitely
We're
haven't
ready.
had those.
I'm ready for a mozzarella stick.
I definitely haven't had
right.
those.
All right.
Ooh,
So
we're
this
going
is Ruffles. Okay.
savory.
But this is mozzarella and marinara.
Yeah.
So if this is right, this tastes a little like a little lasagna or something,
Like a
right?
little-
Or as my grandfather
you.
says, mozzarella.
Hold. I like that we're like little
Oh,
children.
wow. Oh, that's good. Ooh, I'm excited. I got a lot.
Thank you.
Giving it a sniff.
Okay, giving it, yeah. Ooh, I know we're not allowed to eat yet until she
Right,
says
right.
go. I always eat before.
Thank you.
It's bad.
That's good for now.
Okay,
Thank
I'm
you.
getting
Now they look like regular potato
ruffles
chips.
on the nose.
Right, but give it a sniff.
Yeah, ruffles on the nose. Also,
Right, it smells like something that
mozzarella
would be sprinkled on a mozzarella stick, maybe? Is that
Yeah.
what we're smelling?
Yeah,
this-
like the herbs.
Right, the herbs that you
Oh,
sprinkle
yeah,
on a mozzarella
That's what it
oregano.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
stick. Right.
Oregano.
It actually
Traditional
It
pronunciation.
smells like the sauce you would get with mozzarella.
Right.
Yes,
Okay.
I think that's even better.
Are we going?
Hence the marinara.
Right.
but
All right, so
Yeah,
1,
that's
2,
what it's
3,
called.
go. 1,
Okay.
2, 3, go.
Marinara. Whoa.
Well, they're tasty.
Oh, wow.
The taste is more powerful than the smell.
Oh, this
was.
Yeah.
is. Oh. Oh.
They're cheesier than I expected.
Yeah. To me, they're very cheesy.
I love cheese
Just
stuff.
super cheesy.
I like these.
Like,
These are very eatable.
oh, yeah.
Not even edible.
Like
They're
dangerous.
eatable.
These are dangerous.
Yeah.
Oh, this is good.
Where did you find these, Elsie? I mean,
I don't know.
thanks.
In a
Okay.
store.
On Amazon.
No,
Well-
somewhere in my travels.
I've seen,
I don't know.
I've seen these advertised, but I hadn't seen them in a single store.
I don't even think I've seen them advertised. No, unless I missed like the Ruffles campaign, which they do a lot of fun
Wow.
Well,
stuff.
but Lay's did a lot of
you're
stuff.
right, you're
Remember?
right.
Lay's
Yeah.
was like bubblegum baby diaper flavor or whatever.
Well, these are really.
So Ruffles is
Yummy.
trying to get in on that.
All right, so Danielle, what do you think about these
Oh.
chips?
Man, y'all, listen. You know how I am with cheese. Actually, I don't know if you know. I'm gonna go 87 out of 87 chickens.
Ooh, a perfect score!
Wow.
Yeah, nice.
Oh, I like
Because they really delivered, and I also am a sucker for these chips.
Very good, Elsie.
Thanks,
What about
Ruffles.
you?
I'm going to say 70 out of 72.
Okay, deductions for?
I'd like a little more tomatoey thing going on. But I like them. I like them. They're very good.
I tend to agree with you. I'll give them 119 out of 120 for exactly the same reason.
Uh-oh.
And Regina, what about you?
I would go 85 out of 90 chicken.
Wow,
Oh my
deduction
God.
for?
I would say that first bite felt amazing, and then did it lose its luster a little
I
bit?
agree with you.
Like that initial, I was like, "There's so much cheese," and then I was like, "Where's the cheese?"
So
Even though I
tasty.
would still keep eating them. Let's not lie about
Yeah.
that. But
Now, here's a question for you.
yeah,
Do you drink at all?
yeah.
Okay.
We're going for cocktails after.
I want to know.
Yes.
With these chips, beer, wine, or soft drink?
Oh.
Not should someone drink
Right.
beer, wine, or soft drink, but what's going to match the best?
I feel like beer. I think beer with these chips.
I feel like a Coke, a cola.
Okay.
See, I'm thinking like a Dr. Pepper.
Well,
Go
I mean,
great
that's
with
the
these
same
for some
thing.
reason. Yeah,
No, well, for sure.
Well, it has 42 flavors or whatever.
It has 23 flavors.
23 flavors.
Okay.
So, yeah.
It does.
All right.
Oh, that was so good.
Well, thank you very much, Elsie. That was a really
Yeah,
nice
thanks.
finish
That
to
was
this
fun.
show.
You're welcome.
All right, that's
You
it for
nailed it.
this episode of Funny People
Yay.
Talking, and a fine one it was as well. We've been through many journeys together.
So many journeys.
We have. Well, thank you so much, very much, Regina DeCicco. Such a pleasure to have you.
Thank
on
you
the
guys so much
show.
for having me.
I'm so glad we got
Best
you.
of, best of luck to you on everything that comes next, and may you get your cartoon.
Yeah.
All right. And by the way,
Yeah.
tell Whoopi we said hi.
I will.
Would you?
Oh, yeah.
I will.
Wouldn't that
I'll
be
tell
fun?
the web tomorrow.
That'd be fun.
Oh,
thank
yeah.
you.
Send
All
him
right.
a link.
That's
Funnypeopletalking.com with the chicken. Did you see the chicken? That's why we rate chickens.
oh, funny story.
Yeah.
First time we recorded this show, walked out of the building. We're like, okay, I think we've got something here. It was a nice little show. We walk out. Literally, there was a rubber chicken sitting by itself on the sidewalk.
And we already did the
Completely random.
chickens thing.
Yeah, it was.
That's funny.
It was a sign.
Yep.
So, all right.
It was funny.
Thank you again, Regina. That's it for this episode of Funny People Talking, everybody. We are so happy you're here with us. We really do appreciate you listening every week. Although I don't know that you listen every week. Maybe it's a new bunch of people every week. And just,
Yeah, maybe it's a new
I could
batch
be
of
wrong about
100
that.
people every week.
But if you came back
That'd be
from
cool.
last week, thanks.
God bless you.
Yes. God bless us, everyone.
Lovely.
All right. For my good friend Danielle Beckmann
Signing off. Farewell.
and our producer Elsie,
Thanks.
also our friend. Was that
Ish.
thanks for not calling you a friend, or just thanks to the audience?
Thanks, audience.
I'm Marc Raco. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Bye-bye. And stay funny.
Stay funny.
Go on, take a swig. It's only a little past the expiration date. This is Funny People Talking. Copyright 2019. No portion of the content may be reproduced or published without the strict written permission of the producers. Connect with our show at Mouth Media Network or at our website, funnypeopletalking.com. I'm your announcer, Peter Coleman. Thanks for listening.
This is Mouth Media Network. Amplify and connect.